Mambo. Chapa. Doggy style. No te canses.
¿Y qué fue? No hiciste nada. Con tanta chapa, va a hacerle ranking can king can. ¿Y qué fue? No hiciste nada. Con tanta chapa, va a hacerle ranking can king can.
Mambo. Chapa. Doggy style. No te canses.
Tú di que la liga la mata. Muñeca metiste la pata. Deja ese paquete, si a ti te ganaste la ñata. Busquen alcohol, la tipa se trancó. Parece que le falta aceite ese motor. ¿Y qué fue? No hiciste nada. Con tanta chapa, va a hacerle ranking can king can. ¿Y qué fue? No hiciste nada. Con tanta chapa, va a hacerle ranking can king can.
Mambo. Chapa. Doggy style. No te canses.
Mira tú, ven que yo quiero ver lo que me dijiste la otra vez. Que tú eres la dura, la perra, la montra. Tú eres una movie de TNT. Y el loco happy, pensando que tú eres la C. En Ford te pusiste en taqui. Al final te volviste nothing. ¿Y qué fue? No hiciste nada. Con tanta chapa, va a hacerle ranking can king can. ¿Y qué fue? No hiciste nada. Con tanta chapa, va a hacerle ranking can king can.
Mambo. Chapa. Doggy style. No te canses.
Bus, tete, coco, onda. Bus, tete, coco, onda. Bus, tete, coco, onda.
Mr. Vaughn, you've been coming here for 4 weeks.
Spread it on my seat, 10,000 on my eyes. Roly-poly on my wrist. Gotta make a flight, big days. Slumming no FaceTime, 50K. Wonder why I'm storming off, no race.
You're golden by the bliss.
I was sworn in by a kiss. Life on the country, there's no peace. Make I sweep up cases. Going on a walk with a new suit armor. New suit Dimpo, take it a sauna. Give me the heat from a sleep in a armor. Cupid creeping and sleep with a armor. 3-10 gave me TNT. Still same phone AT&T. Still getting news very vividly. Beefing that fucker beef. Smoking on some bitches type of reef. Honey don't be no G. Yeah. Even when they eat, they cheat. Yeah. Every time we meet, naive. On my feet, stacks spread it on my seat, 10,000 on my eyes.
It's mad how I got so deep. It's mad how I got so high. It's mad how you gave me
can tell, then you see the road. I'm out to my soul, and tell me the size. Whenever the smoke clear out of my face, and my picture perfect, or do I look fried? All of that green and yellow that drip from your eyes is tell your demise. I'm to my side to push back the ceiling and push back the feelings I had to the side. I replay them nights, and right by my side, all I see is the sea of people that ride me. If they just knew what Scotty would do to jump out the stage and say I'm a child. The things I created became the most weighted. I gotta find balance and keep me a smile. Yeah, yeah. That shit wild, instead I'm a hero. I took it from zero to flame. You saying I read it for miles. The shit wasn't luck, they got me fucked up. I put you on bus and take you around. A couple of guys inside of the school, I gave them the tools to get it off the ground. They say they're the ones when they make their ears can't look in the mirror. That shit wild. Stand on the stage, I give them the rage. I'm turning it down, can't take it, can't fight. We do in the streets, we do it for keys, we do it for rights. I'm 52 weeks, this shit ain't for pleasure. I'm coming to tweak, this shit is forever and infinite. Ain't no A, we write it and wrap it around. And take me a beat and I turn to a beast. Bought the crib on the hill, made it harder to reach. Bought a couple more weeks cause I needed more speed. Bought a couple more watches, I needed more time to buy the condo. It was smarter than lease. And I bought some more ice cause I bought it and he made a cast on my dish. So she never go cheat. If I gave you a day in my life or a day in my eyes, don't blink.
So bad, you spend your cash on a bitch you never had, yeah. Mama told me, boy, don't last, so I ain't gon' slide if that shit ain't by the bag, yeah. My life changed so fast that I don't even recognize myself from last year. Said she never needed no man, but when she with you, said she needs somebody else. And I ain't tryna add no pressure, oh yeah. I know that they all doing extra. She got dark thoughts and me hits on, yeah. Baby, I be messed up for ya. Said she wanted me to explore her now. Baby, let me get a little toy, yeah. And she got dark thoughts and me hit some now. Baby, I be messed up for ya. I get dark thoughts too, but I keep them. Shorty got a friend group of hoes, so I treat them. All this shit, I keep it on the low, but I peep them. Nowadays, I'm stuck up in that mode, don't need a re-up. Bitch, I'm really him, tell a nigga keep up. Always got that cutter on me, let a nigga creep up, yeah. Oh, they need a squad, they need a team up, yeah. Bitch, I feel like Scotty got my beam up. No, my bitch so bad, you spend your cash on a bitch you never had, yeah. Mama told me, boy, don't last, so I ain't gon' slide if that shit ain't by the bag, yeah. My life changed so fast that I don't even recognize myself from last year. Said she never needed no man, but when she with you, said she needs somebody else. And I ain't tryna add no pressure, oh yeah. I know that they all doing extra. She got dark thoughts and me hits on, yeah. Baby, I be messed up for ya. Said she wanted me to explore her now. Baby, let me get a little toy, yeah. And she got dark thoughts and me hit some now. Baby, I be messed up for ya. No, my bitch so bad, you spend your cash on a bitch you never had, yeah. Mama told me, boy, don't last, so I ain't gon' slide if that shit ain't by the bag, yeah. My life changed so fast that I don't even recognize myself from last year. Said she never needed no man, but when she with you, said she needs somebody else.
Dobrodošli na streamu. Včeraj smo imeli stream, ki pa je pol neki crashal in se mi pol več ni dalo, v glavnem. Zdajle pa da vam tole dam.
Yeah, I do. Like, I like using the memo pistol, for example, and the sniper. So, yeah. I like the weapons.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying watching the two of these guys play. What was your reaction
Okay,
to it, Thomas?
kakor vidite, ki jih bomo gledali, prvo je, pol ure je, jaz nimam nič za delati, tako da ja, moram tole resizati, tako da
You're known
moment.
for your disgusting aim with the sniper as well. Tell me, how on earth are you deciding who's doing what in game? Because you've got a very similar
Potujte, pol
powerful
ure
skill
še
set.
do prve igre, malo sem prezgodaj začel mogoče pol, pa sem imel preveč stvari, pa je tudi bilo najbolj, da začnem že zdaj.
had much of a chance to practice together because you've been
Tole je
separated
v
by the
LA-ju,
Atlantic Ocean.
jaz sem
But
par
from watching you
streamov
guys
pregledal
perform yesterday
tukaj,
in our
ker
test
so
games, it
zdajle
feels like there's a very
pač
natural chemistry. Is that right? Has it come quite
igralci,
naturally
ne
to
vem,
you
to
two
je
as a
po
duo?
mojem pre-recorded, oziroma je pre-recorder
We bounce off of each other pretty well,
teli
aside from
intervjuji,
me jumping in front of crash
probably,
pads, but
ampak
I'm learning as we go.
There have been a few
ja, enkrat
accidents we've
streamu
seen
sem
with the
pogledal,
mobility
ko so
items
igrali,
so far here
pa
at the Galen
da,
Centre in the past couple of days, so don't
ko so
worry
se
about that one. You're
pripravljali,
not
ful je
alone,
bilo
Somerset.
smešen, ampak
Thomas,
ja,
tell me about the off-spawn
mislim,
situation. You
moji
are dropping south
prediction-i,
at Steenie
lahko
Stacks,
imate
but
si
there's a lot
lahko
of
pogledate,
very good
gremo si
duos
skupaj
landing either
pogledat,
side of you. So what's the idea here? Are you
pro
going
en
to stick
duo te
around and
pa
try and get some limbs?
igremo.
We might be contested, but I'm not sure. I think Seti and Dea was going to land on us, but yeah, we will see. We'll just claim the split we have there, and yeah, we'll just try to make it to endgame.
Well, all I know is it's going to be very, very entertaining watching the two of you. Thank you so much for talking to me and good luck. Let's head back to the desk.
Thomas HD said a word there, a phrase, called out a weapon specifically that kind of just
Gremo.
got me excited. Mammoth
Tule
pistol. Mammoth
vidite,
pistol thing in reload.
imamo
You throw one of those in the
Captain,
hands of
to
Thomas
so
HD,
creatorji,
he's gonna start hitting headshots.
Amarja
He's
ni,
definitely going to start
pa
hitting
ti
headshots,
Dja
but we're
ni,
talking about the Pro-Am right now. I remember
kakor
when the
vem,
Mammoth pistol
Amara
was in
sigurno ni, ker
FNCS
on
competitive.
streama
When we
pa
were
tudi
having one
nismo
of
ga
those
videli.
majors, then it was like, wait a
Tule
minute, we're
pa
running highlight reels
Dja
of the
po
game,
mojem ni.
and they're all of Thomas with a Mammoth pistol. This isn't a Thomas highlight
Tole
of
so
the game, it's just
bili
all of Thomas.
konec
He is
koncev,
just so good with weapons like that.
tole so content creatorji, Somerset je sigurno najboljša, pa ti TG, Typical Gamer, to so najboljši creatorji. Proji so pa definitivno Peterbot najboljši, Rex po mojem ni.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like on one side, old
Potem,
friends, old dual mates.
Reason, Cold, Kami, Thomas, Podesaj, Coyota, Buga, ne vem kdo je to, Moxie, ona po mojem se ne bi smela šteti kot pro. Peterbot, ni, po mojem ni, Mongrel, Clicks, Cooper, Alex, Power Alex, Kanada, Queasy, vedno mislim se vseti. Duo te bom pa jaz prebral, Lockland pa Mr. Savage sta prvi duo, drugi duo sta Clicks in Lacey, tretji duo sta Captain, Shota in Coyota, zato ker pač Shota je edini, ki zna Coyotin jezik, se pravi po mojem, da je japonščina. Kakorkoli, Cypher pike Moxie, nekaj 30 Queasy, ta bo še zanimiva, ker Queasy zna kar fajn popizdik, nekaj 30 pa itek family friendly. Potem imamo Typical Gamer TG pa Buga, ta je tudi zelo dober duo, ta je moj eden izmed favoritov. Bom še potem, ko preberem vse, bom povedal moj top 5. Pa kdo bo po mojem najbolj presenetil in kdo bo najbolj disappointal. Potem Oceanic, Speederbot, Courage, Colt, Jacob, Kami, Zemi, Cooper, Nikov, Podasaj, ker sta oba dva Francoza, Ali A, pa Mongrel, Radish, Veno, Deja igra, sem zajebal, Deja pa Seti, Flex Power, tale 916 Gon, ki ga nisem dal prevet, Rexita pa Nate Hill, ta Rex, ki sem rekel, da mogoče ne bo igra, Loser Fruit, Alex, Somerset, Thomas, Stable, Ronaldo, Kanada, mogla bi biti Amar Parizen, sta pa Faxedy Parizen, to je meni boljš, da je Faxedy, Nate Hill pa Rex, to sem pa že rekel, najboljša, ki bo ta zmagala in ki bo ta najbolj performera, in my opinion, bosta Typical Gamer pa Buga, Typical Gamer Buga, Oceanic, Spearbot ali pa nekaj 30 Queasy. Po mojem, da ne vem, ne morem se odločiti.
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a fragger, more of a support player. This guy killed Peterbot in a couple of games yesterday. I think we're ready. And
po mojem, da
We know that you've also
najbolj
won a LAN. There was
disappointed
a LAN at the
bo
end of last year in
verjetno,
London that
pač
you picked up
najslabši,
the W4. So have
mislim
you
to
taught
kot
them
najbolj
anything?
disappointed ne morem, ker
If
tako
there's ever a
nikoli
zero
nisem
build
še
tournament, he
videl
knows
te
to
igrati
pick me up.
skup
That was a zero build
in
cup, so.
ne more noben
But you've been
disappointed
practicing those builds, I know.
toliko močno,
And Lacey,
ampak najslabše
have
bo
you
da
been
po mojem
practicing
Ali
those
pa
builds?
Mongrel,
Because
Lendata še na Peter Bota ali ni igrice, po mojem igral neki cajta, vsaj mislim. To sta pa tudi ena izmed favoritov, ko sem ji pozabil, Lazy pa Kliks. Po mojem, da od vseh teh, ki sem jih prebral, mislim, da ta ona dva zmagala. Po mojem, da bo to, lahko rečemo, tehnično gledan, prvi FNCS win za Kliksa.
$5,000. I mean, you know, I have almost like what, 700. She has you have 40,000?
I got like 40K.
Also, I want to say, why is your voice so raspy, Lacey?
You said what?
Why is your voice so raspy?
My voice raspy because last night we were VOD reviewing and I was screaming the comms. We were practicing comms last night.
Yep. Shockwave on height. He was doing all that.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys about the showdown at Steamy Stacks, but you guys have been talking at each other so long. We're just going to see what happens in the game. Let's head back to the desk.
See, it's weird because they said they were VOD reviewing. Now, Lacey was definitely having a lot of fun. I don't think it was in Fortnite, though. Can confirm. Will that turn out well today? Will it not? I mean, he was looking awake, looking happy. I think they can do it.
You know, listen, when the lights come on, the cameras turn on, this is still Lacey, right? This is still Clicks. This is all for show. This is the character they're letting out, but then the time comes, they're going to win it all. That's my prediction. Anyway, let's move on to the next Ospawn situation happening. We're seeing, and I actually want to come back to you for this, but we have Zemi and Cooper going up against Don. You've been super tapped into the Spanish community, so kind of give us the rundown of what you're seeing.
Interesting, because when you think of Cooper and Zemi, been made for the Pro-Am, and Cooper Zemi, their top three are just set at winning the whole event. Yeah. Now, Gon and Flakes, I think, went under the radar a little bit. Flakes actually just qualified to the major finals on Brazil. They are the duo representing Brazil here today. And he's put alongside a pro. I mean, I was talking to Gorilon, who's actually here doing a viewing party in Spanish. Shout out Gorilon, and he was saying this duo is going to play aggressive. Unlike you got Steamy Stacks, kind of an uncontested, both good in their own loot, but there's also been a surprise contestation on this side of the map.
A lot of contestation going on over there. I was actually talking to Cooper specifically yesterday. I was like, yo, what's up, Cooper? How you doing, man? How you feeling? He was like, I'm feeling confident right now. And he wasn't talking about his own play. He was pointing over at Zem and he was like, dude, this guy, he's better than me in most of the end games that we just played through. All the cups, all the practice we're getting in. Sometimes he's dropping more eliminations than I am. So the confidence kind of going into this competition very, very high for the duo.
Yeah, and Cooper, you know, going all the way back to the 2023 Global Championships, a lot of people, for whatever reason, discredited that win. A lot of people saying that there's 6 games there, you know, that was the easiest win for the FNCS. And then he's come back time and time again, making it to the grand finals, making it to the top 5 to say, it wasn't a fluke, I deserve this win, and he's here to come back once again for another FNCS title.
Pač tukaj so prišli za zabavo in mislim, da je tudi tako.
Treba,
ampak ni pa, ne moš pa biti čist kar tako brez veze, da je to brez veze, samo to, da se podružiš. Ampak ni pa tako, kot sta si pa Cooper pa Zemi odločila, čeprav, če gledaš denar, je razumljivo, ampak ona dva sta ogromno preklisala, ogromno preigrala in ona dva, ki sem gledal streame, sploh nista ostala, kome sta ostala iz stola in sam igrala, sta preklisala, sta in praktično se hočeta uigrati, tako.
Cooper Zemi entering that rare, both of them kind of pros in their own regards.
Okay, you know what time it is. We've got an interview lined up with both the duos once again.
Oziroma še en intervju, Cooper pa Zemi, pa te dva sta pa po mojem zato, ker sta v istmu, ja, ona dva sta z Brazilije zato. Pa ker ima sta tudi v isti organizationu, tam ima celo Red Bull.
Yes, I love to play with Gon, and here we have more synergy. And I want to see Cheese again in Brazil.
Tale je celo v igrci, Flakes Power, spoh se ni podoben v
We are
igrci.
friends, like we talk like a year. We're talking like for a year. We play a lot of tournaments together before the Pro-Am. We play a lot of duo. I don't think we play trios, but we play duo together, trying to call for Cash Cup duos. And
maybe you can join my trio, man.
We have chemistry.
Bye, Swetan. I will put Gon on my team. Bye, Susu.
Bye, Su. Bye, Jonas.
Well, they have been rivals in the recent major finals because you actually made the major finals. But Flakes, you've been telling me that you're more of a support player.
Yes, I qualified to the finals in Brazil, but I'm like a support player, yes. I take heals for my team, mats. like a walking llama, and I helped them to perform well.
Brazil finals.
Well, let's head over to your rivals at Dirty Dogs, because you guys are going to be having Osborne battles today. Demi, you've been grinding the game, it turns out. 260 hours in Chapter 6, more than Flakes. That makes me feel like you're very, very keen to take this home for you.
That's what I'm here for. I mean, as soon as I found out Cooper was my teammate, we started practicing every single day pretty much. Every single tournament there's been upcoming to this tournament, we've played it. We're very confident, and I couldn't ask for a better teammate. Cooper is incredible at the game, and he's also down to put in the hours and practice, and it's been good so far.
You are playing with the global champion. Cooper, come here, let me know what's it been like training with Zemi. How does he compare with the likes of your former teammates?
It's been really good. I think he picks up things really quickly as he competes at a high level with zero builds, so it's been a lot easy to adapt to, and overall he's been a great teammate. I'm stoked for today.
Right, this has been a little bit too nice, okay? We need to turn up the heat, and we need to find out who is going to be the dons of the Dirty Dogs today. So, Zemi, why are you taking it today?
Listen, we're going to take it because, again, I think we have slightly more practice than you guys. You guys are a great team, but we've had more practice, man, and I think it just comes down to the preparation. Best of luck, though.
So he's had the practice, but you guys, what have you got?
Bro, chemistry, yes, we play for a lot of time together gone.
We have the Desenrolo.
Yes, the Desenrolo from Brazil, the Brazilian Desenrolo. They understand after the tournament.
So it's the kings of Desenrolo versus the guys who put the work in. Who is going to reign supreme at the Dirty Dogs? Maybe the devs can give us an idea.
Najhuje je da ti stiki so South America da moraju biti u Braziliji. Komanda moraju biti, mislim da nisam meni server.
Everything's cool, everything's nice. Good luck. We're going to win though.
South America bi mogla imeti več serverjev, pač ko, mislim, South America, pač ko recimo Evropa, Milan serverje, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, tam je pa po mojem sam en server, ampak je pa seveda boljš, če jih je več.
Who wants to go ahead and start? Well, first of all, he says we put our heads together. We didn't. We all kept the secrets from each other because we're very competitive in our own right. And as you can see, Takata and I, we have the same choice. The French gentlemen of Mika and Podesai. If you guys watch the practice games like we did yesterday, they would be your choice as well.
Vivid,
I don't want to leak
Jacob,
anything too early.
ja, Frankie,
the program was announced,
ni
I think they went
Dinak,
under the radar a little bit. They weren't in
ma
those
isto
top 5,
mišljenje
top
kod
3
jest.
predictions, and then we got here. We were seeing how much practice they were putting in, how well both of these players were performing, and everyone's like, wait, hold on a second. What's going on here? This duo is looking insane, and I do think that they have what it takes to come out on top.
And you know, we slab u igrci. Peterbot je najboljši Fortnite igralec, ne samo da je kadarkoli. To je, zakaj ni noben od broadcasterjev njiju favoritov? Ja, v glavnem moj, konstantno si premišljujem, ker konstantno ne moreš izbrati zmagovalca, ker so vsi tako, evo, ful tele so zaenkrat pokazali, so vsi zelo dober tim in ima zelo velike šanse za zmago in res ne moreš izbrati. Recimo, Fortnite, pač prav LAN event imaš nekako več možnosti, a ne, ker veš, kako so igrali.
On his region, and he has only been beaten actually globally one time, and that was by Vico. Constantly gets the most eliminations. We're in an elimination-based format. I've got Peterbot.
Now hold on, here's the problem though, Vivid, because Peterbot is Peterbot, but as we saw in the practice games yesterday, if he goes down, there's a lot of duos close by, like Monger, who says, oh, I happen to have a Mammoth, you're still in the air, that's a free point from me.
I got something for you, Zeke. It don't matter, it's Pete.
Hey, he got me. But my prediction is Clix and Lacey, because it's Clix and Lacey. They are gonna win. Now, of course, I know what you guys want. You guys want to meet some of these players. You want to see these duos in person. So why don't we go ahead and bring out the first 4.
Da imajo različne prediction zmagovalce. Zdaj bojo končno walkouti. Prvi 4.
Make some noise for Zemi and Cooper. Two titans from competitive and content are here to duke it out and reload, looking to take that top spot.
I Faxery. Oni so že to postavljene, i Rediš pa je. To so že nekako postavljeni, kad sam vidio Faxery. Faxity Parison.
Guys are a last-minute duo. They will not disappoint today, mixing great content with brute force.
Faxity.
You gotta get loud for
Kanada po Ronaldo. Тут нью sam nekako pozabil. To ne da se zelo spremno.
That was just the first four, and we are already going absolutely crazy. I am so excited to see Faxity and Reason play. Faxity being the last-minute sub in there. Just so excited to see him compete on this stage. He's been running around, he's been talking to people, getting inside film, trying to learn and grow. And I feel like he is so focused right now. And you pair him up with someone like Reason.
Yeah, no, I mean, Big Faxity, you know, a lot of people look to him as, you know, viewing party, a little bit of content, very close with a lot of the players. But he is also pretty dang good at Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of his content actually revolves on being involved, being in calls with other pro players. So he's constantly in those conversations, right? Not to mention also doing all of those zone wars. Shout out to Faxity, right? Such a big career. He's got a lot of momentum going on in the content crease. You saw him throw up the X, rep the set, recently joined X set.
Oh yeah, I love supporting my fellow NA West players. You mentioned the zone wars. Also very good friends with Reason. The synergy is going to be at an all-time high with this duo.
Yeah, tu to dosta dobra
I like the
prijatelja,
word
saj mislim
chemistry.
Faxity po mojem.
Kanada, stable Ronaldo.
Tale
This is the
duo
other duo that's competing for the loudest duo
They're not
at
competing.
the Pro-Am.
No, they win. They already won. I think through the player lounge, we've seen that they have already won that. I mean, honestly, when this duo was announced, I was very excited, but also a little scared. Not for the rest of the competition, but for the audience members. It is going to get very loud from this duo.
It's been mentioned already that coming back to the game, and we were talking to Lazy, it's just like riding a bike. I think the person who's jumped back on that bike the best has actually been Ronaldo. His mechs look very, very clean.
Oh my gosh, look, I'm getting word. I would love to keep talking about these duos, but we got
Najbolj zanimljivo je bilo videti Courage JD-a pa Cold Walkout. Tudi one da sta favorita, ne vem, ful sem jih pozabil povedati. Cypher po Moxie, Cypher je kašen blow-up, W, Cypher.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mongrel and Allier. Britain's finest, some might say.
Zelo
With tons of
popularen
experience in the bag, they're ready to put others
duo,
in the
ampak
bin.
po mojem da ne bo šlo. Ali 360 OG knows koliko nakazal.
Viva la France, Nico and
favorita.
The gentlemates have entered the stage, and you know that trophy would look oh so good in their
Nikov je pro, iz Chapter 9, tu se je spomnim. Bom bolj dokončal, evo ga.
Champion already, but we respect it. Let's see you back up that statement.
Nikov je bil včasih pač pro na EU Chapter 2, zdajle je ne vem kakšen je, nisem ga toliko spremljal. Zdaj, mojem da ima, a je owner, vem da ima visoke veze v M8-u, tako da ja, je zelo pomembno. Ona dva reprezentata francoski M8, Havoc pa predstavlja francoski Havoc, njihov rival. Eden izmed dveh rivalov francoskih predstavlja Regis, Unije, tudi so z Francije. Sulari,
yeah, I mean, always being involved in the viewing parties, knows what's going on with Fortnite competitive, staying in tune, grinding in the shadows, paired up with Bodasai and Nikov. They're looking scary.
We do have the Global Championships in France later this year, so, you know, maybe they want to give us a little sneak peek of what we might see.
Yeah, to France.
All right. We also had a chance there. You heard the crowd go crazy. Cypher, PK, and Moxie coming together. I mean, I feel like the stadium, they've chosen their winners.
Oh, yeah. I mean, landing over in East Slurpee Swamp right there, they have a great position, but also Cypher PK, even though he is a content creator, he is an incredible competitor. And then, of course, Moxie, winner of the Milk Cup, one of the best female Fortnite pros in the world.
Yeah, a lot of potential here for this duo. Talked to Cypher, he was like, yeah, I love my duo. We got the same game plan. We're jumping in, feeling confident.
I love it. And again, shout out to Make-A-Wish, Luca, Tyler. Thanks for hanging out, but it's time. Let's meet our next four.
Oziroma je ena izmed najboljših, Somerset pa Tale qua esce X-Mina qua Francis. Evo Lachlan pa Savage.
And combine maximum content with pure skill. It's showtime.
Everybody say hello to Rex and Nate Hill. They've got LAN events, they've got experience, and they're making for some fierce competition.
Stile se pa spomnim, on je bil včasih tudi zelo boljši, zdajle ni toliko igral Fortnite, tako kar je. Onda je Call of Duty igral. Evo, to sem rekel, one dva sta to, kaj Kojota ne zna angliško. Kojota je eden najboljših projev tudi na svetu, ker se to ve. Govorijo mu Buga, pa tudi drugim zaključil. Pa ena izmed favoritov. Vega, ko je typical gamer je Jax. Okej. Okej, da se... Fuck, zdaj sem pa pozabil, pa sem...
Whoa, TG, my fault, OG. I did not know you were absolutely yoked. Oh my gosh. Once again, the crowd have chosen their favorites. It's typical gamer, it's Booga. You can hear the crowd is electric right now. Man, what more could we say about these two OGs of the Fortnite scene?
Look, I almost got shaken off the stage. In typical gamer, walked
Kojota je zmagal 1v1 proti Peterbotu, 5 proti 2. Odgovoril mu Asian Peterbot. In tale Nate Hero od konca čez arena mi pa ni všeč. Ampak moram pa reči, da tale pa je že da je Peterbot najboljši igralec na svetu, ste se slišali, pa rekel Vivit prej nazaj. On v zadnjih par sezonah, ne vem, kako je že rekel, pač v glavnem je imel največ kilov na teh njihovih ameriških FNCS finalih, grand finalih, globalno pač celotno FNCS-u po teh sezonah, je pa samo enkrat bil premagal ga je pa Zico, ki je iz Avstrije, on je zmagal Chapter 6, sezona 1, prvi FNCS grand finale na Evropi, ta Chapter, ampak njega pa niso zmagali so pa on, pa Čviko, Veno, ki je zredniš na timu, pa Flixi, ki ga pa tudi.
I mean, there's a reason they call him the Asia's Peterbot, man. He is such a phenomenal player and, like you said, super innovative. I remember back when they had jetpacks in the game. He was literally eliminating people in the air. I'd love to see it again.
Woo! Let's hope there's jetpacks in reload, but for now, let's meet our next 4 duos.
Koliko jih smo jih že videli? 10krat bomo šli po njih. To bi mogli let mi po 5, pa da bi šli 8.
Their names are Alex and Loserfruit, but there's no losers in sight. It's time to represent Power and Oceania.
Give it up for Daya and Seti, both land winners with a bunch of experience ready to give it their all in the FNCS Pro-Am tonight. Good luck.
Locked and loaded, Thomas and Somerset. This lobby better watch out, because with these two around, first is the only thing on their mind.
It's Aussie antics and Peterbot. We're in for some action with these guys today. Can they live up to the expectations from the community? Time to find out.
En kreteni giftov, 5 suvov. To na Twitchu gledam. Subi so isto kakor memberski, pač člani, memberi.
I mean, I'm feeling it. This is insane. We still have one more group left to go, but let's talk about Daya and Seti. I mean, Seti's an invitational champion, a legend in the EU scene. You pair him up with Daya, who just recently won the Milk Cup LAN. I mean, you know, Viv, this is looking like a really strong duo.
You mentioned it, right? Both of them have that LAN experience, not only LAN experience, LAN winning experience. I mean, I swear this duo should be good on paper. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually fulfill all of the hype coming into the weekend.
Yeah, when you think of EU competitive and a new season starts, the pros, the players, the duo, the players that they look at first is Cammy and Seti. They're always ahead of the game in terms of meta, in terms of how to play this season out. So I would not be surprised if they're also going to be ahead of the meta going into today.
They are going to be contested at Logjam by Thomas and Somerset, but honestly, if there is a duo that could probably come up with a strategy real quick with how to deal with that duo, it is going to be Daya and Seti. But we got to talk about our OCE players.
That's right, Alex, we've got paired up with Loser Fruit. I mean, in yesterday's practice games, guys, Alex was going crazy. Thankfully, they had Callum come out with them. Man, these guys are looking really, really strong.
Yeah, when we were watching the games, there I am seeing a player with like 8 eliminations. I'm like, oh, of course, Pewterbot's going crazy. Oh, wait, no, that's Alex. Alex is eliminating everyone.
Another one of those instances where we're reminded by one of these international players kind of joining us here on the stage that they are just so good mechanically. I was talking to Alex just before we started, and he was like, yo, Vivid, like, hype me up. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I don't need to. You were dropping crazy elimination yesterday. Just do that again. Everybody will be hyped for you.
100%. 4-time FNCS champ on OCE. You were mentioning it, Kelly. He had the highest amount of eliminations in any of the practice matches yesterday.
I have a very small insight from Loser Fruit as well. We had a very deep conversation. Said, Loser Fruit, what do you want out of the weekend? She said, I want one thing. One elimination onto Lachlan. That's it. With that being said, one final wave of duos. Bring them in.
Get loud for Queasy and Nick at 30. These guys will never back down and look to have an amazing day. I can guarantee to see them on high ground.
Flakes and God have entered the building, everybody. Things are really heating up and Brazil is coming in hot for today's competition.
Jacob and Cammy bringing the pride of Poland all the way to Los Angeles. Let's see if this duo can live up to the pressure of the competition.
It's your content kings, Quicks and Lacey. They're already first in everyone's hearts, but now it's time to place first on the big stage.
Samo nazaj. Vidio sem Lacey pa Klik sta bila, nam se nam pa ostale 3 prve.
The hype is real. The players are now taking the stage.
Jacob pa Kami sta
We're
bila
getting ready for our first
video.
game. We wanted to talk about here for a moment, Cammy and Jacob. So not that long ago, we kind of talked about Seti, right? And I feel like what's happening right now is Seti, typically when you look at this duo, Seti and Cammy, they kind of come into tournaments real quiet, under the radar. And now you're telling me, Tokata, we have Seti already doing that. And now on the other end of Slurp Rush, we have Cammy and Jacob doing the same thing?
That's the interesting part, right? They are literally on the complete opposite side of the map. Now it's a full
Seti pa Kami dva Poljaka, ki sta praktično nikoli nista igrala s drugim, kakor pa sama s sabo. Pač nikoli nista narazen igrala. Zdaj pa v Pro Emu sta pa en lane na eno stran, en pa na drugo stran mape, tako da sta praktično najdlje od drugega, kar možem.
Cammy and Seti kind of like to do that when they're playing those FNCS majors, so no surprise, and we're not really hearing a lot about this duo right now.
You're talking about teams flying under the radar. A team not flying under the radar is Nick A30 and Queasy. I mean, what a combo. You can already hear the cheering again. Nick A30 is such an incredible personality for Fortnite, joined by Queasy, one of the best IGLs, Takata.
What's interesting about Nick A30 is before Fortnite, he was actually studying to become a doctor. So now paired up with the GOAT IGL, he is going to have all the resources needed to keep him alive and play that support role.
Well, obviously, Queasy, one of the GOATs when it comes to the IGL category. Talking about Fortnite, are they going to be able to pull off the typical surgical procedure that is take height, don't die?
I love it. You know, and after yesterday, we had these practice games to look at, and unfortunately, Nick had a moment where he kind of crash-padded Queasy back in the storm. So I said, hey, Nick, I kind of walked up and said, hey, Nick, what is the one thing we're not doing tomorrow? He said, you saw the crash pad play, didn't you? You know, and I said, of course I did, Nick. And he's like, hey, look, Zeke, tomorrow that's not happening. Don't worry. And of course, the fact that we saw them on height, Yeah. I love that you're kind of saying that kind of clinical, surgical precision, bro. I was like, wait a minute, are we watching a Pro-Am or are we watching FNCS?
I mean, it's going to be a guarantee. We're going to see Queasy. We're going to see Nick A30 up on the high ground. Are they going to be able to control it, right? Maintain it? We'll have to see.
That's the difficult part, right? It did get taken from them in last moments, but it was because of a questionable crash pad play. So, you know, they had moments to practice. It was good. It was a practice game. Today is the real deal.
The one concern I have for this duo isn't about being contested, isn't about being able to play well, is how is Nick A30 going to deal with Queasy's language? We know that all the people competing here are going to be streaming their perspective, so we know, and also there's going to be some listen-ins as well. We got a lot of possible chaoticness for the family-friendly player.
Absolutely, and you're going to talk about, you know, chaos, right?
That's what Reload's all about. We're taking a look at some of the items that we might expect some of our competitors to go ahead and pick up today. Mobility being one of the most important things whenever we talk about Fortnite competitive. There's actually so much mobility in a Reload, right? We got the shockwaves, obviously those breaking builds. Those are going to cause some chaos. We got the grapplers. You can make so many, you know, crazy plays with that. Avoid fall damage. You know, jump on the high ground with that pretty easily. The crash pads that we were kind of talking about, they send you so far. When we're talking about a smaller map, it feels like they send you halfway across the map.
And also thinking about strategies, there's a lot of mobility.
Vritan Boclix, loser fruit, Laklampa, Bugaboj sakmasao svoj icon skin. Buga ga, moguće da ne bo, loser fruit, Laklang ga to 100%, vse igre verjetno nosila, Zitrica pa ne vem, bo vse. Eno igro bo pa sigurno nosil, tudi ne samo FNCS icon skin. Verjetno to navaden verzija.
I mean, yeah, that was a strategy that we saw in Major 2, right? With the new reboot purchasing that you can do, that is definitely a competitive level strategy, and that's what we need right now. A lot of these players prepping, getting ready. It has been all about the scrimming and the VOD reviewing for these duos. Who has been able to put in the most practice? How have they synergized as duos? Because this is it. This is the Pro-Am, right? We haven't had one in 5 years. A lot is on the line right now.
Vibes, I mean, at an all-time high, right? Obviously, there is definitely some more competitive edge, but there's also just like a lot of fun, kind of bringing together, you know, both ends of the same coin, right? Hyper competitive FNCS, and then content creators, right? Who, when you bring them together, it's like we're one big family coming together once again. I mean, again, having old OGs coming together and be like, yeah, I still rock Fortnite. Yeah, you want a 1v1? Oh, I just dumped you? That's crazy.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking, saying that there's already people before the show even started being like, we need another one next year, and the games hadn't even started yet.
That's crazy stuff. As we were kind of going down the line right there, and
nabel numanga pun Fortnite announcement che se non ročekal so to. Verjemte men, tale event tukaj Pro-Am je nekaj najboljšega in to bi mogel biti ja vsak let ali pa celo vsak, ko bi rekel, dvakrat, trikrat, ne, enkrat na letno bo dosti, ker bo preveč pol. Ampak sigurno rabi bi to enkrat na let, definitivno.
And she's going to be able to lock into the competition.
Yeah, confidence is key, especially when eliminations, I mean, we talked about it, 10 elims is the equivalent of a victory royale. So if you're able to just farm a good amount of elims at the start of the match, you have a very good shot of getting first place. Now, what I'm thinking about as well, we've had a bit of drop spot changes, but maybe we've had a little bit of drop spot baits, right? I know Mongol Allier said they were landing on Peterbot and Aussie Antics. Will they actually do that now that it's game time? Reason Facts Vidi said they're landing on Cooper's Emmy and Gone and Flakes. That's like 3 of the most powerful duos in the same POI. I don't know if it's really going to happen.
I mean, did you see
Ful se bojo
the antics video
kontestalka
of
mapa
Allier
za
watching Peter
40
build? I don't know if they're going to be dropping, and if they are, they're going to be doing it
majhna in
very
definitivno bomo
carefully.
videli
But like you guys are saying, it's all about the vibes. We've had so much fun. There's just been so much content going out. We also have a lot of co-streamers up in the audience right now. There's people representing so many different regions. This is what Fortnite is all about.
Yeah, 100%. Very, very excited to kind of jump into the action. Gosh, Zeke, you know, I got a question for you, Zeke. You know, obviously you kind of punched in your ticket, Clicks and Lacey yesterday. You know, Lacey, after his extensive VOD review session last night. How you feeling about your pick?
I wasn't aware of the VOD review session personally, but listen, this is still Clicks, this is still Lacey, you know. Clicks is looking really good, right? Again, we had kind of 3 practice games yesterday we got to watch. We got to kind of clue in, see how things are kind of going. Clicks, to him, it looks like I'm just watching Major 2, right? It looks like I'm just watching the same Clicks I just got done watching. And of course, with Lacey, like, yeah, this guy loves content, of course, but He knows how much Clix wants it. He knows what this means to Clix. So when the time comes, he will lock in.
We all know the ongoing joke of the fourth place curse from Clix. Unfortunately, getting
Ignorirajte, uporabite kod Radiomarko.
last year, and then this
Mora
year
Marko te
getting third
promovirati.
place in Major 1. Major 2, he gets second place. We were already talking about if Thomas HD wins, would this officially be his first FNCS title? Well, what about that question for Clix?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are kind of, I've seen it on socials a lot. Clix is actually in his prime right now. And definitely those placements, they're kind of backing it up. We're talking about storylines when it comes down to primes and everything like that. Why don't we go ahead and focus in on Mr. Savage and Lachlan, right? Mr. Savage was retired from Fortnite competitive earlier this year, and it did not take long before he kind of rejoined us for Major 2, joined another trio, got right back into the action, so I think he's locked in right there. The thing that I love about Mr. Savage is that, I remember competing against Guy, and he always had his supporter creator code. It was always like 200 IQ, because everybody always kind of coined him as the smartest player. Of course, now we could see it right a couple minutes ago, right? He changed his code now to code Mr. Savage, but still has those smarts.
Has the IQ from retired to qualifying grand finals, but now competing here at the Pro-Am, and you were talking about, does it count as an FNCS win? Well, if it does, if Mr. Savage Lachlan wins, even Peterbot Aussie Antics, that means Aussie Antics is an FNCS win. Thomas HD doesn't, and Clix doesn't. That is definitely going to be a funny ongoing joke.
I mean, how can you not be entertained, right? And again, the fact that this is reload, obviously in FNCS we watch, someone goes down, it's like, well, see you next game. Now someone goes down, it's like, okay, well, they're reloading back in. How do we kind of approach this new situation? Does Thomas HD have a mammoth pistol halfway across the map? Did he catch you coming from the sky? Like, there's so many cool things, and of course with the loophole that is reload, there's so much chaos that could happen. From even opening a single chest.
I think it's important to kind of talk about, you're going to get reloaded, right? Obviously, you're going to be flying in the sky, you're pretty exposed, and we kind of see competitions before.
Tok dolgi premori med igram.
In the lobby,
Pa pojma nijem tudi koliko ih je
But there
sploh.
was a change not
Pa
too
ne vem,
long
če je
ago
to
to
2
kind of
dni ali
avoid
nič
some of
ne
that, right? Make sure you can kind of glide down further, closer to the land, have a little bit more immunity. Yeah, it kind of prevents some of those beams coming out of the sky. I can tell you right now, practice games yesterday with these professional players in the lobby, it feels like it almost changed nothing.
Yeah, it really did not. I mean, the aim of these players is on a whole other level. And what I'm thinking is, in a lot of the performance evaluations, the players are playing safe. They were, hiding the box, going for the late games, and trying to get a good placement. Because in those end games, you are going to get a lot of opportunities for eliminations. But I'm trying to think to myself, okay, if you're low ground, you're going to have a lot of opportunities, players dropping down, running out of mats, a lot of elims. High ground, you're going to have to play aggressive if you want to match that amount of eliminations. And I think that's going to be kind of the deciding factor on who does end in first place.
Another deciding factor is how these players are going to be preparing for their win condition in the end game. Obviously, with this being reload, we know that it has a high potential of going to a heal off. And we've seen a few players, such as Peterbot and Aussie, having 4 chug jugs in their loadout at one point, which is a great way to prepare. It's not the best way to get eliminations, though, and you do need to have a bit of a combination of mobility and weapons and everything. But I think players that are preparing for that win condition is what's going to set them apart.
Love the fact that you're talking about the heal off. Yeah, it would be no surprise if at least 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, maybe 5, maybe all 6 actually go down to that heal off, right? We got so many items that can kind of support that. Chug jugs, med kits, we've got those slurp juices in. But it's so funny because yesterday when we were watching those practice games, I was like, wow, we've even got the terrain, POIs like Slurpee that have those barrels available. Cooper, so smart, making sure that he went ahead and utilized those for his heal off win condition. Gosh, they're just so smart sometimes.
And that's why it's important to put in the practice on this new map. I mean, not only do you have chug jugs, med kits, splashes, but like you were mentioning, if you know where all these slurp barrels are, if you know where you need to go quickly into zone to keep yourself alive in the heal off, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of them.
I mean, bringing us back 3 years ago, Invitational final game, Cami Seti versus Queasy Vino, not knowing what you can do at a drop spot can really change the story of a game.
Why would you bring that up, Kelly? It's not like this is going to be a super close competition by the end of the day. That would be insane if it was, but it's that time. We're ready to jump aboard that battle bus for the first game out of the FNCS Pro-Am.
Prva igra se začenja.
Over to you.
is definitely time. You guys are talking so much about those practice games, Taco, and they are out the window because the nerves have to have settled now. The battle bus is going to launch, the players are going to drop in, and everything that you practice, some are going to be put to the test.
But so many of these creators, so many of these pros, they're just so familiar with what it's like to have all eyes on them. And so with that, I think the expectation kind of settles more into the fact that I just don't want to be last.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things is, you know, everybody gets a little bit of that prize pool. It gets increasingly more, $50,000 for that first place, but it's almost like everybody wants to hoist that trophy, and it kind of leads to my prediction of Peter Bot and Ozzy antics, right? Huge fan of
Ne vem kako gre, ali dobita oba dva, a igralec dobi 50 €, ali oba dva dobita skup 50. Tudi na trackerju imam slab, tudi to nič ne piše. Sploh ne moram, ful se nič ne ve, pač glede tega, ali je to dvodnevno, ali je to, koliko je to igra, kakšen je prize pool na igralca.
And it's going to showcase here today. These matches, it might only be 6 games, Jacob, but I'm expecting some pretty big shifts to develop, especially by the time we hit the halfway point.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, especially games 5 and 6. Those are the ones my eyes are definitely going to be glued on because that's when a lot of the chaos will start to ensue just a little bit. Depending on where you're at in leaderboard, we already see it in our FNCS final style lobbies. You know, you need 30 points, you need 40 points. You have to pick it up through eliminations. This format is basically elimination heavy. You don't start to earn placement points until you start to get into the top 10, and most of them is in the top 5. So it's all about consistency.
Za win dobiš 10 točk, tako da ne bo toliko. Ne bojo, kukor v ta pravma FNCS finalu, kukor imaš tako, kukor imajo igralci tako po 600 combined točk, ali po 300 na dan, lahko tukaj bo tako po 150 približno, ne vem.
I'm crashing out on it. It's going to be Peter Bot. If I'm not winning, he's not winning it either. And that kind of mentality, I wouldn't be surprised to see take place amongst multiple duos here today because it's all about the pride sometimes, Jacob.
No, it definitely is. And, you know, coming in and watching some of the practice games, you know, right out of the gates, Peter Bot and Ozzy landing at their Slurpee swamps. But then I saw Faxity Reason. I saw Alex as a solo while Loser Fruit was uncontested at her drop. I saw Booga and TG actually get aggressive and take the top of the Slurpee building. So honestly, I feel like it's anybody's games, and these zones are going to be so pivotal because by zones 5, zone 6, just one zone before the replay, that's when it's going to get interesting. But you guys heard the battle bus, and it is going to be ready for game number 1.
Desno zgor bo pisal, koliko jih je. Ja, pa začnemo.
One day and 6 matches to determine who our 2025 FNCS Pro-Am champ team is going to be. And initially off the jump, Peter Bot.
6 iger, se pravi, to bo mojem dvodnevno.
Right out of the gate for Peter Bot. I would be worried for Booga and TG, but now it's just a bunch of SMGs. Ozzy already found the Mammoth. He's going to go ahead and deliver that one first class on over to Peter Bot as soon as he gets the chance, but they're just going to shield up, get a lot of these chests. In reload, it's about 100% chest spawn, so you got a lot of opportunity to get the loot that you need.
Keep an eye on where Allier and Mongrel are actually going to be headed. Flakes, Lacey, a little bit of pressure
Veno se contestata.
From Veno and Reddish.
Flakes
and
typically
you can expect that some of these POIs, you can just split them even 50-50 for the most part, but I don't think that a 50-50 clean split is the intention here.
No, I don't think it is for the most part, but because of those 100%, there's a lot of floor loot and stuff that they can split it rather safely, or you can choose to fight it later once you do get that full loadout. But I did see in the feed, typical gamer taking down Courage. Now Cypher PK is going down, so a lot of these players already just go right at it to try to get those early elimination points so they don't have to worry about a deficit later on.
And it's always rough to be one of the first players eliminated because then you're just an open season target for the rest of the lobby. Alex, we had that reload online. We might have been expecting to see him fire a shot out of that Mammoth one more time, but Slurpee Swamp getting a little bit encroached upon, and this is Ozzy and Peter Bot's territory, but Imena su im zamijenila. Njima je recimo Ozzy, Antics ima drugače ime Dick Ozzy bot. Mr. Savage ima Mr. Savage pene s simbolema. I Peterbot ih kuša. Evo ga. Tule se mogu že zdavne Savage respawna. Laklan lako umre. Ozzy ubil Setija, yo!
Single one. He's trying to get at least a single elimination on everybody in the game. Here in Savage getting rebooted, and these are the big warnings that we were talking about. It's just like a flare in the sky. They know exactly where you're at, and Peterbot is just on the hunt for Mr. Savage yet again, who luckily finds at least a shockwave to create just a little bit more distance.
But how far can you run when Peterbot is chasing you down like this? He still has a couple of shots, one more left inside of this mammoth, and then it'll be up close and personal. Thunder shotgun pulled at the ready. Savage clip, but he doesn't have enough HP to tango, and that's going to be a knock. Another elimination for Peter, who needs a warm-up when you've got game one to get things done.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows, but Savage kind of just helped the lobby right there because you saw Peterbot only had one more mammoth pistol shot left, so he's not going to be able to do that much damage from far away anymore unless he finds his loot llama in the fact of Ozzy Antics to see if you have any more of those that I can borrow. Thomas HD, Somerset, just moving north from their original drop spot, and you can see they have a pretty decent loadout, but when we're looking for Thomas HD, no sniper, no mammoth pistol, he doesn't have the firepower that we expect him to have yet.
A little bit of you take this, I'll take that from Somerset and Thomas. But Aussie,
Aussie Pallier. Peterbot Aussie Pallier.
Everybody in Mongrel. This is a conversation starter. Peterbot annoyed even that these two would have the audacity to challenge them at Slurpy Swamp. But Peterbot, Allier nearly bringing Pete down. Pete actually going to be forced to pull back. But Aussie, he's got the supportive measure. He knows his responsibility, and he's going to make sure that Pete is safe and sound.
And the little things, Taco, it's the little things right there for Aussie. Being able to go in, sneak in. He edited the backside cover for Peterbot to safely escape and gave the shields and heals exactly what he needs in a situation like that, because it was definitely a tough spot to be in for a quick moment. But relatively early, third zone, only one tick of damage. You could still stay and stagger yourself back if you need be.
But you see Aussie play back up and then immediately goes right back to the farming. It'll be a test of endurance for those two making their way out of Slurpy Swamp. But Nikov, Podesai, can't even classify them as a dark horse because these are two very high-tier competitors. But with the way that they're kind of trying to position right now, Jacob, looks like they don't want to get caught up in too much of that early commotion. They'd rather prioritize the positioning.
Yeah, talking to them in the player room before it started, they're just going to play their game. They're not concerned with everybody's drop spots. They're not concerned with everybody's strategies. They're not even concerned with anybody sleeping on them. They say, hey, that's a blessing, because they're not going to see what's coming. And I think they're just focusing on prioritizing the rotation this time around. That's why they're going towards the north, but towards the eastern side of the zone is going to be gone, and Flakes, they've had a rough time. That surprise triple contestation could delay their timing so much.
And even with Baxity and Reason kind of calling out the fact, hey, we're just looking to take the dock side entirely out of Salty Docks, but Cooper made a great point. He called out that those two are eventually going to have to rotate in, and guess what they're going to have to go through? Both of these duos opposite ends, so the fight was inevitable from Salty, and it's kind of left everybody a little bit more scattered.
Take a look at this, though. Typical gamer, one of the most viewed Fortnite creators in the world right now. And he's carrying the World Cup champion Booga 2 eliminations to 0. He has 7 crash pads. The legendary Slurp Juice, he has a very good loadout. Right now, the only real concern for them is how they're going to make their way in towards zone. They did let 1 or 2 teams already pass them on that rotation, and there's a third towards the north.
Hey, you can't sleep on TG, though. You have to remember, this is someone who's been playing alongside Quinn even out of the West region on NA, and they've been able to have some pretty strong performances. He's definitely a strong competitor. I'm excited to see how they continue to cook in this lobby, but Kanata, Ronaldo, they already got a little bit clipped, a little bit tagged up from Typical Gamer and Booga, so they are very much aware they might be getting pressed here soon.
Mammoth pistol is going to be in Kanata's hands. Stay Ronaldo, kind of like clean up loadout, the Stinger. Kanata can land a good amount of damage with that Mammoth pistol. Whether either one of the shotgun or the SMG, he's going to be able to clean that one up easy, but they're just on the side of the mountain. A lot of teams already pressing forward in that rotation. They're just kind of biding their time. They're a team with 2 FNCS champions, by the way, on it, that know that patience is a virtue, and just being able to just slowly let other players make the mistakes that you can capitalize on.
And hey, Alex kind of carrying over that performance from yesterday's practice lobbies. Already 3 eliminations. He's definitely keeping in mind just how impactful those individual elim points will actually amount to. And he's got going Flakes in his sights. Poor Nate Hill doesn't even get a chance to respond. Threw up an attempt to defend himself, but Alex just way too quick on the trigger.
And that's what we were talking about in those practice games. Alex going punch for punch with the likes of Peterbot in terms of getting simple eliminations. As we're seeing the zone, it is going to close up just a little bit, but it's a 50-50 with the whole south side being in the zone, and that's why you see Peterbot and Ozzy just trying to rotate to the north. It's not a ton of damage by any means, Taco, but you can see they're trying to save and utilize their heals for as long as possible.
And the problem is that Chug Jug that Ozzy's holding onto isn't for him. That is got Peterbot's name on it. And the longer that Aussie can hold on to that without having to actually use it on himself, probably the better off they're going to feel with these rotates. And the direction that they're headed, though, Somerset, Thomas HD, they might have an opportunity here to try and cut off some teams, play a little bit of spoiler to this edge of zone.
Yeah, loadout's looking pretty good. They got that Chug Cannon, so that's basically infinite heals. You just need the timing to let them charge up. As Cold and Courage find themselves all the way towards the north, steamy stacks, but there's about 6 teams on this side of the map. They find themselves in the zone, though. That's a luxury they know they can count on for now.
This is still a nice readjustment in comparison to a lot of the troubles that we saw them encountering in yesterday's practice games. Courage, Cold.
Courage utigral već turnamentu, turniru u Fortniteu competitive da teden kot je odigral od 2020 do pač Pro-Ema. V 5 letih je odigral manj turnamentov, pač do Pro-Ema, kakor pa v enem tednu Pro-Ema. Tako da ja.
Where are you going to find the loot? So that's why you're seeing a lot of these teams taking it just a little bit more serious than some of the games that we saw yesterday.
Plus, you got to keep in mind, Cooper, Zemi, they were grinding all morning. They've got to be feeling very warmed up, doing nonstop 2v2s up against Kanata and Stable Ronaldo. And the way that they just shockwave towards that center zone, they're bound to get caught up in a little bit of action. But Reddish, Veno, first off, they want to be the ones intervening. Gone and Flakes, they've got an exchange up against Kanata. They took out Ronaldo, but Reddish and Veno, they don't want to let up any pressure. They're just going to continuously spray into where that action's taking place.
I just feel so bad for Ronaldo right now. I don't even know where he's going to end up landing, but if he can find his way back to Kanata, that will be good. And they are kind of deep in the back of the zone. This is about what are his chances, which is going to be relatively good. I don't even know how he just done it, but he did it.
And that's what you look at a former FNCS champ for, okay? Ronaldo's got his method.
Ja, Ronaldo je FNCS. Jedini izmed veterov, ki je FNCS champion.
Gone and Flakes interrupting. That's just so rude.
His tough spot to be in, too. He couldn't even fully stand up. He was kind of stuck, crouched down at the top of the mountain. Cooper, Zemi, honestly, leading up into this Pro-Am, this has to be one of the most predicted teams in top 5, one of the most predicted teams to actually win the FNCS Pro-Am. But hold up, Cole getting busy. Kurt said they were going to take out Cypher PK. I'm not sure if he said he was going to do it himself or he was going to let Cole do it for him.
Look, who else was getting their duo bananas? Who else was getting their duo water? Courage, that's who. And it's showing off here. Cold, feeling primed and ready to go. Cypher being the first victim, and possibly many more to come.
And Cypher also in a tough spot. With Moxie being a little bit of a solo here for a few seconds, if she can buy the time, they will. And you hear that sound, reboots are going to be disabled from here on out. If you go down, you are forced to watch the rest of the game play out.
Moxie pa Cypher.
Every player for themselves, and absolutely nobody is safe. Shockwave or crash pad, whatever direction you want to head. But you've got to keep your head on a swivel, otherwise you might lose it.
Tako da Tiska Z umre, je mrtv do konca igre. Kako sam rekao, Fix bo nosio svoj iconski pač proemerđe, ali je iscrpno.
Targeted by a few players, dropped to a low HP. Peterbot's the one that's actually cleaning up the elimination. Points go to Booga, loot goes to Peterbot. And that's where you're seeing a whole lot of importance as Moxie. We literally saw her go down. Now we're seeing what happens when you get rebooted a little
Nike
too
trdi pa
late.
Quizzy, kukar sam rekao, na high groundu.
Look at Nick and Queasy, they're already trying to come into your eye. Peterbot and Aussie, they're just gonna clear out their own dead side rotate. Pete, always happy to get involved with a little bit of box-to-box fighting, and if they're not careful though, High Ground might actually take notice of what's going on. Mongrel barely lucky to still be alive right now. That's a rare miss from Peterbot.
And he's feeling the pressure here because this is a duo competition, but for the rest of this game, Mongrel's gonna have to play it out as a solo. Peterbot sees the weakness, he's getting the green light, but shots come in, they spray the cover. Really forced them to kind of rethink that strategy there for that quick moment. And that's saving Mongrel. He doesn't even know how he just got put on a high ground. You know him, you love him. It's Queasy, it's Nick at 30, and hopefully this time around they can hold on to their high ground.
The zone pulling over this hillside has just completely set
Mamut,
Queasy and Nick in an optimal position, but you always have to be careful because high ground can be challenged at any given moment, and Queasy is fully aware of that factor. He's already caught a glimpse of Shota and Koyota on that secondary height, but teams are on the move. They're trying to control that front side low, and Podesai, Nikov, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Yeah, you have to let that legendary Slurp juice get his HP and shield back up, because if he were to go now, one Mammoth Pistol will definitely do him in, but now the crash pad's going out, they're just simply trying to make their way to the front side of the gun. Clicks and Lacey, same thing as Cold. Another elimination, that's one each for Courage and Cold. He promised one banana means one elimination, and he kept that promise right here.
Oh, that potassium helping counteract those back cramps. Courage, he's coming alive. Somebody throw out the time machine for this man. But Nick, Queasy, still up on the high ground, still trying to prevent anybody in these lower layers. And Reddish Venom caught up in a little bit more of a mix-up than what they were hoping for. But it's Vaxity who's on the back heel. Vaxity gonna be forced to shockwave away.
Courage su bil, Aussie Antics izgubio, Koyota je umaru.
It's a different level of flexibility when you're playing as a solo.
Nate Hill je umaru, Aussie je umaru. Peterbot je solo.
Just taking names and checking them off that list one at a time, but there's no siphon. He needs the HP, and he found Peterbot's Chug Jug.
That's all that Cole needed. He just wanted all of the material, all of the opportunities that Aussie was able to provide off that body loop. But Nick, Queasy, they're still intact. They're still fully in control of this high ground. Clicks and Lacey might be hoping to try and counteract this, but from the secondary height position, they still got to deal with these teams on low. Queasy and Nick, they're not letting up either. Alex doing what he can to fend for himself on the backside, but Nikov, Podesai, immediately shockwaving towards the front side low. They're waiting. They're hoping that somebody's gonna run into one of their pre-edits.
There are 15 teams still alive. Placement points have not touched this lobby just yet. It's all eliminations all the way.
Savage one.
For another one. Savage. Weak as can be on the other side. Lachlan's there as well. Shockwave from Kanata causing a little bit of destruction and confusion. As Cold is simply on
Savage je mrtv. Peterbot je u boksu nekoga. Nije mogu editat, Podesai ga je bio. Podesai pa neko vše Jacoba. Queasy je na maksimum hajtu, Nike trdi je crknu. Queasy ima 0 buildov. Venota bubu. Pa ga nije. Podesai je na high groundu, pa Nikov. Queasy se bori, pa mu ne uspeva. Kliks pa Lacey. Lacey ima 3 kile. Zemi in odskoču. Lacey je umrl. Queasy brez buildov. Je šokujemo Podesai, kaj pa je umrl. Queasy bo dobil še siphon.
Everybody else
Zemi pa Cooper sta še edina kot duo živa na low groundu. Predicted winnerja proti predicted winnerju. Niko Fuki umrl. Quizy na high groundu klača. Brez mečov in itak sta zmagala Cooper pa Zemi. Brez kakršnih koli presenečenj. In predicted zmagovalca Pro-Ama sta zmagala prvo igro.
Alright guys, congratulations! Gale and Senta, give it up for your Victory Royale winners! Cooper, you knew that he had it in him. He's been practicing for this moment, but did you think straight out the gate you'd be picking up the first Victory Royale?
100%. I mean, we're going to win this whole thing. I'm with the best teammate here. I'm feeling super confident. IGLing feels good. I'm feeling great.
All eyes were on Queasy and the high ground, but you guys were just staking things out on the low ground. Talk me through that end game.
Yeah, I mean, end game we looked at high ground. We saw they're very established. Cooper called it to go low ground. I was on him the whole time.
Cooper je holov za low ground in zaradi tega sta tudi verjetno
It
zmagala.
really did work out. Do you think you need to change things up now to keep people guessing in the lobby?
No, I mean, we might change things. We might not. I don't know, but all I know is we're gonna win more.
Well, all eyes are going to be on you. Cooper, after game one, we've got the eye test now. Who do you think is the biggest competition here?
I mean, I don't got any competition here, honestly. I think we're miles ahead of everyone. We just stay consistent, stay confident. No one's beating me here.
All right then, guys. Please give it up one more time. Cooper and Zemi! What a way to kick things off here in Los Angeles. We'll be right back after this break.
Koliko pa je break dolg? Koliko je break dolg, prijatelji moji? O, 3 minute, let's go! Okej, vmes pa poglejmo leaderboard. Na prvem mestu itak Zemi pa Cooper s 16 točkami, 3 točke manj imata Podesaj pa Nikov, tudi ena izmed favoritov. Tretja sta Nike Tardi Quizy s 13 točkami, druga sta bila, teda sta bila tretja s 5 kili, teda sta bila druga s 4 in sta tudi ena izmed favoritov, še ena izmed favoritov, Klix in Lacey četrta s 4 kili, zelo zanimivo, da sta četrta, 4. Ja, Klix kar se nadaljuje. Kanada, Stable Ronaldo tudi favorita na 5. mestu s 5 mestom na 5. mestu, bila sta 5 s 4 kili, Courage Cold 4 kili 7, 12 6 kili Osi pa Peterbot. Peterbot je imel po mojem največ, ja, Zemi pa Peterbot sta izenačena. Peterbot sploh ni dobil nobenih placementov, nobenih točk pa niso dobila Cypher, PK pa Moxie pa Kami Jacob. Tudi teda sta ena izmed prediktenih, da bo ta najslabša bila poleg Mongrel pa Alieja, ki sta bila z 2 kiloma, kar je zelo dobro. Ja, tudi Hero Flakes pa Hero 916 gon, teda sta tudi prediktena, da ne bosta wow igrala. Savage pa Lachlan pa Nate Hill Rex, Buga pa Typical Gamer 17, zelo zgodaj sta umrla s 3 kili. Na 11. mestu, na 12. Faxery, ki je imel 1 kill v tem duotu, bila sta 9, imela sta 2 placementa in dobi še eno točko od killa, s 3 točkami sta na 12. mestu. Potem Redish Veno, 8 z 1 killom, 4 točke. To pa se pa začenja seveda top 10, 10 sta Rediš pa Venus, 8 z enim killom, to sem že rekel, Alex pa Loserfruit, lih to točko sta ujela, placementa 4 killi, Seri pa Daja, 1 kill, 6 sta bila in to je to. Mi pa nadaljujemo, kajti smo že nazaj.
Welcome back everyone to the 2025
FNCS
Pro-Am.
Los Angeles Arena.
Oh my gosh, game number 1 was crazy. So many developments all happening in that single chaotic moment of a game. And at the end of it all, Cooper and Zemi come out as game 1 winners?
Yeah, I mean, again, that wasn't too much of a surprise, right? Everyone had Cooper and Zemi winning the whole thing, and it looks like Cooper and Zemi are feeling the same way as well. Going on the ground aggression definitely is looking out for this duo right here. But what I love from it is Cooper. This Major 2 that we just had was one of the first times that he really tried IGLing, and honestly, he's done such a good job with it, and I love to see him bring that into this competition as well.
I mean, Cooper was telling us, he said, let's drop low ground. That's what he was telling Zemi. Zemi's like, should we go for high? Should we contest it? No, they wanted to play by the book. Go low ground, get those extra eliminations, and it ended up at a 2v1. Quick cleanup, got the dub.
I love too that, you know, obviously Zemi is saying like, hey, it's all Coop, and I'm listening to him, but we just watched Zemi go crazy, right? The mark of a good duo is like, if your IGL kind of says, hey, this is what we kind of need to do, he's immediately there to just make sure everything is happening the way it needs to, and they're sitting there in that #1 spot right now after just game number 1, dude. Zemi, what I love about him, even if he's like asking questions like, hey, what should we be doing? What you don't have to question is his aiming. Wherever they are, whatever layer, if there's a 1v1 that's taking place, Zemi's not missing.
Whew, man, that is a way to start a competition, Takada. And honestly, I think a lot of eyes are going to be on this duo. I don't know necessarily if Peterbot and Aussie Antics are necessarily happy with the performance that we saw right there. Currently sitting in 7th place. And if there's one thing I know about Peterbot is that when he thinks that there's a player that's doing better than him, he tends to target that player.
Oh yeah, and you could see from the early game onto Mr. Savage how focused he was on getting that elimination. But also shout out Aussie Antics. The amount of eliminations he was picking up, he was looking like one of the pros himself.
Yeah, look at this, the same amount of eliminations as Peterbot. I don't think anyone expected that, but with the amount of practice that Aussie has been putting in, and you can even hear it from Peterbot, the fact that he complimented Aussie Antics just shows how much effort he's been putting into this competition.
Absolutely, of course. I want to highlight here as well, Nikov and Podesai. Guys, for a moment I thought, wait a minute, they're going up, the Gentlemates are on height. This is it. And it looked really, really good. Obviously, Clicks played spoiler to that. We'll get to that in a second. But to see them on that high ground, especially in those late moments of the zone, guys, this feels like an FNCS. Now, really quickly, we have a listen in here with Peterbot, so let's take a look.
Oh, listen in, bro.
Kept thinking, like...
Guys, remember land under.
Yep.
Yeah, we won a game on land. You're the first OC player to win on
Yo,
land.
let's go, bro. I'm talking about winning the whole thing as well, man.
Yep. Now we're winning the whole thing. What?
Got him.
Nice, good job,
steady. We're steady.
Bro.
Yo, got a pro on the board, baby. 30, 13 white, 60 white, 80 white, dead, dead, dead.
Nice,
nice.
bro.
Let's go, baby.
I blanked her.
Dude, 2-2, man. Come on, kill check by me. Come on, man. You got to be at least triple my kills.
I love that. Something we actually, when we had a chance to talk with Ozzy, one thing he said was like, hey, listen, so on land, OC has not gotten a victory royale or a win. So we said, wait a minute, hold on. So you're saying if you got a victory royale and won, I mean, OCE is on the map then. That's right. Lachlan walked out with that piece of paper. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy, especially with it being Aussie Antics.
Dejansko Ocean nima ne Victory Royala
the content creator, the face of content creation.
Na LAN eventih.
Pretty special, but if we're talking about special, we gotta talk about
končnega vina nima, to pa definitivno.
Look, Jacob mentioned it. Kurt said every banana I'm going to eat, I'm going to turn that into an elimination, and he was not wrong. You can see the shots he's hitting here. You can see the practice that he's put in. There was a funny note. He's played more tournaments in the last week than he had from 2020 to now, and that work is really paying off.
This game, though, was all about Cold. His solo clutch that we saw exactly right here, where he was staying in the back of zone, kind of staying on this like low to kind of second low ground, which is allowing him to grab all these eliminations from all the players that are focusing forward, going for those elims themselves. Honestly, Cold is punishing the rest of the lobby for playing well, and that is what separates these first tier and second tier players, is being able to kind of understand where you're at a deficit and then use that to your advantage.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All they got to do now is maintain that consistency. Good amount of eliminations, get yourself to the late game, and just keep on going.
I want to keep on going to more games. Let's jump back on that battle bus for game number 2.
Match 1 has already delivered, and from what we're witnessing this far, Jacob, all of these players are so ready to kind of stamp their own place inside that leaderboard.
Yeah, with how wild game 1 was so far, I can only expect it to kind of double, triple in games 4 and 5 at the end of the day, because we saw 16 teams alive before placement points went in. But let's get into game number 2, because we want action.
Evo, končno igra 2. Okej. Pa da vidimo, kdo bo zdaj zmagal. Lama je na Dirty Dogsu, tako da ja, tiska je Dirty Landa ima Lamo. Saj mislim, da se to Lame marka ne. Cypher, PK pa Mox ili na tad splele. Osip Peterbot na Dirty Dogsu. Očitno sta šla. Dobar itak je, tek ni važen, ampak Peterbot. A ja, po mojem da je Ozzy šel sam u Slurpija in noben ga ni bilo tam. Ja, noben ga ni. Alex ima dober aim. Ja, tole bo problem. Peterbot je hotel kot solo jeti v Dirty in dobiti kile. Ja, tole bo stone dva rabla narediti tako, da gre ali Peterbot v Slurpija, ali bo pa Ozzy pač mogel ostati v Dirtyju. Tukaj se deja pa Setine ta splitek tlele. Ubila sta en duo. Dob, kjer ga sta to ubile? Koga sta to ubile? Sevič pa Laklan sta mrla. En kill sta imela in eno točko sta dobila. Okej, ostala sta očitno v Dirty Dogsu. Ozzy se je spet respawnil, fulkrat je umrl, ampak ja, najdu ga je Cooper tlele. Še ena točka za Coopera, 17 ima zdajle z zemljem. Tako da ja, ne čudenga. Ja, mogla bi že odštartati v Slurpiju, spet ni nobenga, noben se ni dotaknil, niti mal Slurpija, ker vedo, kaj se jih čaka. In niso sploh vedeli, da je, da se noben niti dotaknil tega. To, da bi prišli tja, pa verjetno niso vedeli, da je Peterbot čudrgan. Hiter elim za Alexa, ki je tale projem izjemen. Loser full sploh nima kaj toliko za narediti, ker Alex dokazuje, da je najboljši igralec Oceanije. Tehnično gledano, in gre še po tretji kill, tehnično gledano Alex, konec koncev, evo, currently a back-to-back offensive chain and the only one who has that v tem momentu. Pojo, ki se, a ne, kaj to, kljub temu, če bi bil Pojo tle, kaj ima 4 zapored, ga je Peterbot prekinul. Peterbot je pa prekinul Pojo, ker sta pač mogla jeti narazen, pač tako, kot trio sta mogla splitati. Če bi dopustil Epic Games, da odigra pač Fortnite competitive, da lahko zaslužiš tu, če igraš s triotom, ki ne boš mogel z njemu jeti na LAN, bi verjetno Pojo bil tisti značek prestiža in že 4. kill. Alex, ja, da dokončam besedo, tehnično gledano je na leaderboardu na koncu zmagovalec projema. Peterbot tukaj ima grala Chasea in ga bo verjetno ubil. Spet se prekinjam, da hitro zaključam. Ampak to zato, ker je bil en majster na Oceaniji, Benan Mongrel je mrtev. Tale majster spet dansa. No pa da še jaz tu million time povem, kaj sem mislil reči. en na Oceaniji, ki pa je uradno zmagal, ampak je bil banan, je cel njegov tim pol bil banan, je pa ne vem, in Alex je bil drugi s Enonem, in ja, pol je bil ta banan in Alex, Enon pa še en so bili drugi, to so pa zmagali, zato ker je bil majster banan.
Ozzy and Peterbot could land at Dirty Docks, and yet no other duo was able to take full advantage of moving into an optimal position at Slurpy Swamp to even try and cut them off. Sure, you've got Buga and Typical Gamer a little ways ahead of them, but even that is a fight that Peterbot is more than open to taking on head first.
Yeah, confidence at an all-time high here. And we saw this elimination on the Mongo. We let him know what's up right afterwards.
Kako je to ne?
Ozzy just kind of playing that
Kojota, Šota.
Ozzy just playing his role pretty well. And he's not just getting that big head, that ego, and being invited to a competition like this. He said, hey, I'm just going to do what I need to do for my teammate, and we'll see what happens.
Kojota and Captain Shota, though, they're just going to keep things moving. They don't want to get stuck between multiple teams. They're trying to prioritize, just making it
gledaš, ne bi Ali bil najslabši igralec tukaj le.
Everybody knows what he is capable of, and I think that's why they're just going to
In igre sta pušati, ja, tole pa konc zgodbe. Ali se probava in ne more proti, lahko tudi rečemo najboljšemu igralcu na svetu, ampak ja, tega ne moramo reči, ker mora zmagati lan, da se to zgodi. Lahko pa rečemo, da je enega izmed najboljših igralcev, če gledamo, kaj zmore. Ali je boss še enkrat umrl? Kako natančen je Kojota, po mojem, da ga je še Šota zadev, ali ga je pa še en drug tim strelov, verjetno ja. Kojota ima Scar, Šota ima Silent Scar, ki je po mojem bolj natančen. Listen in. Peterbot pa osmete listen in tukaj.
Mongrel.
On you? Yeah, yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna go kill LEA.
Yeah, nice.
Ona veste. Ja, dober, sam to bo pa nosil Ali. Ali je bil full boxed.
Nice, very good.
Farm out here, follow Mongrel.
Dobra, itek. Kaj boš naredil po temu?
Nice, very good stuff, man.
So now we know what the starting point was like between those two teams. Peterbot just calls the target, Ozzy all too ready to follow up.
If they were just a couple of seconds sooner on getting that
Alex 6 kilo.
that would have been another
Tole po mojem trenutno Ali Zemi ga je bil, Alex ga je finišel, da dobi Siphon mece. Ampak Moanda, Loser Fruit je lahko srečna, da lahko igra z Alexem, ker trenutno je po mojem najboljši igralec Pro-Ema. Če bomo na koncu gledali kinostete, bomo videli, da je to res. Jacob pa Kami se tam ne bo tako malo srečala z Moxi pa Cypherjem. Kami ima celo... S Kami je eni kar default, da ne vem. Kami ima celo Exotic Twin Mac, ki ti da tele iz Chapter 2 Season 5 une diamantke, ki se lahko teleportaš. Jacob, zakaj piše, da je crk, čeprav ni. Tam je tako easy pernik. Prison pa Factory, evo jo. Nismo jo skoraj nič videli. Factory ima edin kill v temu duotu. Ali so eni zagličeni, ali pa so se kar odločili default, da nosijo. Top 10 in 11 different official tournaments, but has never won one.
But Fax and Reason, Big Brother trying to be careful, doesn't want to overstep his welcome.
You know, when Faxity got in last second, I might have been one of the happiest people being able to watch him play, being able to check out his streams. He is so entertaining, and he's good. He just needs to get more reps in a competition. You know, you saw that stat. He's placed top 10 in at least 10 of them. He just hasn't been able to pull off that big win. But hey, if he's able to pull off a win here at the FNCS Pro-Am, that's the only one that matters.
His only option is to pull off a victory on here, Jacob. He said he was getting at least one for the broadcast today, at least one.
Get the reason of a Factory.
At least one for Amar. I mean, show the man some love. everything happens for a reason, though. And we'll have to check back in with Faxity to see what's taking place. Cooper, Zemi,
Cooper tle strela drevo močno je na poto.
They're gonna have to sit and wait.
Osi Papirbot gre sta na high ground verjetno. In Osi Papirbot že pušata tlele. Osi je malce tle pustilo kill Papirbotu, ampak no hard feelings, dokler dobita te točke. Ne bo nač. Falcon in Papirbot. Klicaj. 5-kratni FNCS prvak. 3-krat zapored. Pa zdaj le enkrat zmagal pa še prej v štartu chapter 3 z Bajla, je tudi na kontrolerju. Najboljši igralec vseh časov, ali je spet umrl. Jacob se je tukaj respawnal, Flex pa Gon se mu ime. Ok, Gon pa Flex sta tukaj le, ja, Flex je to on ta. Očitno razen unga Španca, ki tudi ni dobil unga svojega skina. Pa tudi Flex ni dobil svojega skina, pač FCS verzijo. Poln Španc. Mojem, da so vsi razen unga Španca od projev. Tukaj na temu Pro-Amu. Ne, Čike tudi ni. Čike tudi ni. Niso vsi tu, to je definitivno. Evo, tukaj še se skini. Ron pa Kanada. Alex je bil Unovič, ali je jak in 7 kilov Alex. Loser Fruit se ga lahko samo normalno drži. Definitivno sta največ kilov, Alije in Nate Hill se respawnata in Alije bo verjetno zaključil svojimi igrami, oziroma svojim življenjem, ker je bil spet umrl in spet ga je, ne, Cold ga je bil, Faxity zaključil vse skup. Alije se ne more nekati respawnat, Mongral se tudi tam ne respawnal, je od spodaj nek. Nate Hill pa Rex, tamle, Nate Hill. Rex je umrla, Thomas HD z Infantry Rifle itak, best aim. For a reason, tudi Zemi ima enega najboljših tlele. Mongral ima lrka, oziroma ne lrka lih, okovni gleda. Nate Hill, one tick, tisk, ki ga zadane saj enkrat, to bo free kill. Šota je umrl, Kami ga je bil in to je konec za Soto. Kojota ju pressure tlele. Kojota zelo dobro sam pressure Kamija pa Jacoba. Jacob se je pokilal, Kami kot IGL seveda. Moxi pa Cypher, dobra igra zaenkrat za njiju. Želim ima, da grem boljš, ker Cypher je eden izmed mojih ljubših content creatorjev tukaj. Ronaldo pa Kanada je najboljša content, duo za content izmed vseh. Peterbot pa Osi ima pa tereta živce in ju damage-ata na polno. Osi ima celo Stinger SMG s 30 metki, ki spema, ne vem kva, čeprav iz chapter 3, takrat je bilo to, takrat sploh ni noben shotgun na nosu, vsi so nosili SMG, pa AR, zdajle je pa to, a ne, nerfan. Ron ima Stinger SMG, Kanada pa Ron rotirata, Duga rotira, spet Quizy pa Nick na high groundu, mislim da tukaj ni nobeni presenečen, samo čakal se je, kdaj se je to zgodilo. Pač fora je tega, da noben ne cilja high ground tako močno in Quizy pa zna igrati več ali manj na high groundu in enostavno, ker noben ne gre, ker noben ni tako uigran, razen Cooper pa Zemi, ki sta pa bolj low ground team. Seveda Quizy spominja kot Aqua, ampak še vedno Quizy, po mojem mnenju, ni najboljši igralec high grounda. Vseh časov Quizy je bil čopan, Nik je crknul, Quizy se je pa v zadnjem momentu rešil. Gon, pa Flakes, ojojoj, kako ga je Pirvot tlele klonil, nevredno. Dobu ga je. Gon je na high groundu, Pirvot igra s Torom. Nisem videl, če je živ Osi, po mojem, da ni. Prosim, če dajo nazaj na Pirvota, ker res ne mislim prevajati nazaj. Ja, Osi je mrtv z enim killom, 4 točke sta dobila Pirvot s 3 killi. In Kliks pa Lacey na high groundu. Quizy bo tudi crknul verjetno slika prej, one tick je. Nimata pa tudi tok metcev, vsaj Lacey.
They have the chug jug, they have the slurp down below. Peterbot is trying to hold on to his position, spraying to the backside of the zone. That's Paxity that's feeling a little bit of pressure as they get Shockwaves popping off. Clicks Lacey do not have high ground anymore. In fact,
Kliks je dobil Kima Spaz.
Clicks is firing on all cylinders. And Clicks better because that
what a shot. What a shot Kliksa. In Lacey je umrl, Storma Kliks ga je tule zajeval. Ron je mrtev, Kanada je še živ, Pirvot še vedno živ, nič novega, tudi če solo klača. Faxity je umrtev, Reason, Faxity sta mrla, dobra igra s njihovih strani. Kliks na high groundu, moral bo tele dropa dol, ker zona se pomika nazaj, tako da Kliks ne bo mogel skočiti v vodo. Colt je še vedno živ kot solo, videl smo njegov solo klač prejšnjo igro. Tule Pirvot dobil še en kilo mis, ki ga nismo videli. Cooper je tam živ, Zemi je mrtv, Colt je umrl, Rediš je tamle, Veno, pa Deja, Veno je umrl proti Deji, Deja je umrla. Rediš jo je ubila, ne bomo te pa dobili točke, ker Rediš je umrla, Cooper je umrl proti Peterbotu, Peterbot je pomrl proti Kanadi, Kliks proti Setiju in Kanadi. Kliks ima 3 slrpe, pa 30 čaga, teda sta pa tako low. Kliks je definitivno zmagal tole igro, v tem ni nobenega dvoma, teda se je tako pofajtala tle. In free kill za Setija, zdaj bo pa Kliks dropal, Popo tudi slrpa, da si zagotovi, da Seti ne more nobenega klača narediti. Ujoj, nima mecov. In Kliks je praktično že zmagal, igra low ground, seveda, še enega slrpa je spil, pa mece je še tle dobil. Tole bo free win, praktično ustoram ga je fliknul in konec igre za Setija. Kliks je zmagal, Passion. Kliks in Lacey sta tole passionate. Se razveseliva tega vikroja, ker... Okej, poglejmo. Nadaljujemo. Seti pa Deja sta imela največ kilov to igro, ne boste verjeli. Imela sta jih 9, medtem ko sta jih pa imela Alex pa Loserfoot, oziroma Alex sam jih je imel 8. Ja. Lacey pa Kliks sta prevzela vodstvo za 3 točke pred Zemijem in Cooperjem, no pa vam da še pokažem. Prva sta Kliks pa Lacey 70 točkami, druga sta Cooper pa Zemi 40 točkami, bila sta peta s 3 kilami. oziroma ona je zmagala s 6 kili, pa ima 10 kilov tega mata. 10 jih imata tudi Deja pa Seti, ki sta fully klašala tole igro, potem sta Ron pa Kanada, ki sta bila tretja s 3 kili in sta četrta trenutno, 7 kili, s 12 sta Pirobot pa 8 tole igro sta imela enako število točk, ampak sta bila več placementov. Potem sta bila Colt pa Courage, Colt spet solo klača in spet 7. mesto, spet 4 kili, tako da je v obeh igrah pridobil 8 točk. Potem pa Nikov pa Podesaj, tle sta malo zajebala, tudi manj kilov sta imela. Ta 7., teda so 6., 8. mesto, Loserfoot pa Power Alex, ki sta pa zaključila na 12. mestu tole igro z 8 kili, ki je vse Alex, zelo hard carry Alexa. Potem imamo, kaj pa je to zdaj? Nadaljujemo. Potem Nike Trdi Twisted Mind Squeezy oziroma Twist Squeezy. 4 kili, tole igro sta zelo slabo odigrala, ker je tudi sam Nik bil čopan, pa Squeezy Nik je tudi umrl. Rediš pa Veno, 11 točk na 10. mestu, 2 kila, 6, ful malo imata kilov in to se tudi pozna v točkah. Flex pa Gorn sta naredila malo večin naskok, ampak imata še kar premalo kilov. Bila sta 8. tole igro, na podnu sta pa Cypher pa Moxie, ker sem rekel, da imata dobro igro in da si želim več od njih. Zelo prvo sta umrla prejšnjo igro, ampak enostavno Moxie je seveda najslabši pro tule in to se pozna. Rex pa Nate Hill, tudi Rex je ena izmed slabših, ne, Rex je najslabši pro, se pravi čujem, disrespect, ona da imata pa še hard zero, tle sta imela 1 kill te dva. Leaki pa Savage, nismo kaj pričakovali, preveč Mongrel pa Ali se še nekako držite, čeprav sta tole igro, sta se sam respawnala s Pauhalijej, Jacob pa Kami, Bugel Typical Gamer, Šora pa Coyota, Taxery, Reason, Somerset pa Thomas HD. Ok, čez 2 minuti se vrnemo nazaj v areno, malo bojo neki cheat chatali, jaz nekaj ram pregledati, potem pa, ja. Ok, Game 3.
Fortnite fam, I must be dreaming. Clicks, Lacey, Victory Royale, game number 2 in the craziest 1v1 I feel like I've seen in so long. Clicks holding height for so much of that end game.
and then utilizing those shockwaves to just disrupt SETI, just saying, hey, I know you think you know what up, down, left, right is. Well, this shockwave is about to send shockwaves through your mind.
How did he have so many, right? Throwback to when Frankie was talking to them, he's like, yeah, Clix might have shockwaved me into Storm, right? How do you have enough to go ahead and do that to your teammate, launch yourself up like 7 times? As you can see, Clix is very, very comfortable in this meta. This is why I was talking about the fact that a lot of the reload items, they're callbacks to previous competitions way back years ago. Clix has been a player that's been playing for a very long time, instantly
Eto, pride reload video, če smo se navezali glede tega.
Please bring them
back. Ja,
yeah, Clix
zelo zanimiv video, v glavnem.
Expectations quite high for the rest of the competition. And you know, like you were saying, he was doing such a good job on the solo high ground and getting an elimination onto Podesai and then getting an elimination onto Alex.
Zanimiv video,
being a solo player, that's when we typically see these pros kind of tend to take a step back, slow down a little bit. But Clix was the exact opposite. He just kind of put his foot on the gas pedal there and just kept going. And obviously, it came down to him and SETI in the final 1v1 Vivid. And it got kind of close.
Yeah, it did get kind of close. SETI is like, please stop throwing shockwaves at me. He's like, how do you have so many, right? Like I was mentioning, Clix just kept going up and up and up. Not to mention, Clix, when he dropped all the way down to the low ground and initially lost the high ground, he had no mats. He had nothing to work with. For some reason, there's like a pool of loot down there, a little llama for him to go ahead and help him clutch that game up.
I love to see it. I also love to see Lacey running around the arena right now, getting everyone really hyped up. That's what you want to see. If you do go down, and if even your own teammate goes down, you got to keep your mental straight.
I mean, when we saw that moment, we saw Clix get up, get excited. Yeah. We have that listen in. Let's hear from what this game happened and how it all went down.
Come on, looking, come on, looking, come on, looking. I'm spinning you mats, and I'm going to go down on walls, okay? I'm connecting. Wait, I'm shocking you, sorry. Don't shock me, bro. I know, I said I'm shockwaving. You're good. 100. Done. I'm going on height again, I'm going on height. 200. Kill 3 on height. I don't make it, I don't make it. 4 shocks. 5 shocks. I have 3 mats. Let's go! Let's go!
To be fair, Zeke, Clix did come that he was shockwaving.
You know, we all know how chaotic Fortnite games can get.
Yeah,
technically, he did comment. We'll just let it slide, because you know what, he got a victory royale. So at the end of the day, it's all good. And now they're currently holding that number 1 spot, 27 points. It is looking so good, but look right behind them, right? Cooper and Zemi, they're still holding strong as well.
Whoa, 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 but right behind them, tied up 24 points there. I see SETI and Daya sneaking into 3rd place right there. You know, I was swore that team was going to be good on paper. But yeah, Cooper and Zemi again, instantly getting contested towards the top of the leaderboard right there. That just shows how close these Fortnite competitions really are.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it after game number 1, that once Peterbot gets eliminated by someone, once he gets down, he wants to go for that 1st place player. He wants to prove himself. And unfortunately, if you're going up against Cooper, it might be a little bit risky. And obviously, Aussie Antics being left alone there definitely spelled a little bit of a disaster. So I don't know if we're necessarily going to be seeing that strat again out of them. But Cooper, Zemi, 2 strong games in a row, Vivid.
Yeah, I mean,
like onda je klikšel, ne, Peterbot šel na njiju, zdaj ima Dirty Dogs, ker je aimao da ubije oba dva, Zemija in Cooperja.
Booga taking out Aussie and this and that happening. Everything's going crazy already.
Yeah, you know, and still game 2. Zeke, we have so much more. There might be a possibility that we see Peterbot pull out the teeny strat and just land in a new spot every single game.
I would love that. And the only other thing I want to see out of these games that I've seen too much of is my boy Ali getting bullied, okay? Leave Ali alone. Let him play his game for once. But man, Nika Podesai as well, going sicko mode in these games. Reload is just so much fun. I'm loving this like extra layer of just chaos, right? Again, you just never, like, as you're swapping perspectives, you never know what a player's gonna have. Sometimes it's a loadout where you're seeing, oh, shotgun, AR. Sometimes you've got shocks. Sometimes you've got some crazy mythic or exotic.
You know, you mentioned layer, and I really like the layer that they're playing here. They're kind of going for the 2nd high ground, and you can see even in those clips right there that they're paying attention to high ground. They're peeking behind, they're going for those chops, because they understand that although eliminations are great on low ground, there's just so many question marks on if a player just pops them behind you and gets an elim, but high ground is a little less contested.
Guys, I want more action. Let's get back up on that battle bus. Taco, Jacob PR, over to you.
Games. We want more games. And I'm honestly keeping my ear to the street. The whole Fortnite community is saying this is fun. This is what it's all about, and I can agree.
That leaderboard was looking crazy, though. Seti and Daya, you cannot sleep on their performance so far today. And Jacob, we're about to hit the halfway
Jutri pa
point.
namo gledali Pro-Ema, ker
It's game 3. It's ready to
nimam
ride.
časa, ampak drugače pa ja.
This is it, like you're saying, the halfway point, and you saw that leaderboard. And it's not necessarily going the way that I thought. It's not elimination heavy. It's been consistency in the placements and making these top 5s, making these top 3s. So this is what it's really all about. Maybe you could close the gap in the last half of the day, but who knows?
One thing's for sure, though, Baxity and Reason playing that third-party contest, that Dirty Dogs, has made it very difficult for Flakes and Gone to find that level of consistency in comparison to Zemi and Cooper. They've just been silently sliding through those end games. We saw their game 1 pop off too, and other teams, they're gonna have to step it up or they'll fall behind.
Yeah, it's really important here because this is a good pacing game, seeing where you're at versus the rest of the pack. It's almost like testing your strategy. Is it working? But Benno just keeping his eyes peeled, sees Lacey land a little short. There goes half of the HP. And I don't think Benno's going to go on this great chase. It's a little bit too risky, especially since he doesn't even necessarily know where Clix himself has landed, so he doesn't want to get taken down a little early.
I think if Benno had a shock right there, he would have gone for it. He would have full sent it, but no mobility means you're gonna have to come to a halt. Alex on the other end, he's got Cypher PK in his sights, and Cypher, shockwave to safety. Just in the nick of time, he'll be able to reunite with Moxie, and she'll play that supportive measure, that backup unit. And that's going to stop Alex in his tracks. He can't continue to press that issue.
You know, watching the Milk Cup, Moxie was trying to make a last game run in that final game of the day. I think they had 15+ elimination before they eventually went down and were cut short. But that's the type of confidence I do want to see from these teams. Take control of your own game. Get aggressive when you can, especially if Alex and Loser Fruit are landing on you and trying to take the fight and catch you off guard.
Scenes at Fort Crumpet, though, is just Queasy trying to take advantage of Seti and Daya spotted off on the bridge.
Okay, smo nazaj. In smo s Queasyjem
a very familiar strategy, Jacob. Doesn't matter if it's FNCS, major finals, or if it's
še vedno z default skinem. Očitno ta njegov default ni glitch, sam nared defaulta, kar mi je presenetljivo. Ker, ja, vsi vemo, kaj je on skozi nos. Svoj icon skin. Verjetno je pa tudi to glitch v replayih, ampak dvomam, da je tako pri Fortnite, ampak ponavad, Fortnite broadcast, ampak ponavad se da zgoditi, pač v replayu se ponavad zgoditi, pa tudi v pravi igri, da vidiš namesto navadnega skina, kjer ga kol imaš, defaulta.
Expects much from them, even though Coyote is always breaking the mold and showing us new tricks in competitions just like this.
Oh, you can't say nobody, because Captain Shudda, if you got a chance to talk to that guy like I did, he was just calling out, we are going to be winning. It's going to take a little bit of Alex.
Kako mu je Nate Hill naredil Loser Fruit, takoj se je takoj zakempala, saj konec koncev.
Oh my.
Loser Fruit ne bi imela toliko šanse, Alex se vrača, Nate Hill, clo, Rex ima clo, minigun, in Nate Hill prihaja sem, Loser Fruit je tukaj, Loser Fruit lepo beži, dobila je malo damage-a, Alex se očitno probava prehajati, Alex je tam dol, Nate Hill je zgubil side nad Loser Fruit, ki pa je tam dol, crackal jo je in Loser Fruit je cooked. In to pomeni, da se Alex mora skrivati. Lepo. 2 točki za Nate Hilla, pa za seveda Rex ekipa sta na repu lestvice, tako da lepo, da vidimo te z manj točkami, da se prihajajo Reason, fajta s Faxidijem, Gona in pa Flexa, brazilski duo. Reason ima celo wall breaking, heavy shotgun, ki je ekstremno OP, ampak moj drugi najljubši shotgun izmed eksotikov prvi mi je seveda Maven, ki ti pospeši vse skupaj. Reason malce dale pa Faxity, tudi Gon se lepo fajta, vidi se, da se zna under pressure znajti in beži. Zelo dober je tole odigral Gon, Flakes tule. Lepo, Max, tudi Gon Max. Reason pa Faxity sta pa še na poti do Max. Silo, Gon pa Flex sta že tam, Gon se že približal, Flex se bo verjetno začel tudi približati. Reason in tole vidimo Aussie Antics Mongrel, pa tamle Allie, pa Seti, pa Deja. Buga je crknul, Buge nimamo več, typical gamer in Buga. Pirvot ga je ubil, škoda, da so že tako zgodaj. Ja, kakor sem rekel, da ne bo, verjetno ne bo toliko disappointov, da ne morem tega reči. Zaenkrat Buga in typical gamer najbolj disappointed od vseh. Alex je prišel na drug konc mape. Tule so zelo blizu Kanada, Ron, potem še Seti in seveda Zemi in Cooper so tajeni, ima mehen višjo prednost, ima kliks, ampak v reloadu se ve, da hitro lahko umreš in nikoli ne moš imeti predvideno, dobro, lahko da se ti ponesreč in umreš hitro, lahko pa da zmagaš igro. Zdaj smo videli, kako nekaj trti in pa ko se hitro sprobrne z nekaj trtijem in Quizijem in Loser Fruit je umrla. Loser Fruit je umrla, Faxity in Reason sta dobila no kill. Reason ima tokrat malo več shotgun metkov, še vedno nima toliko metkov. Faxity boljši z lifeom, Reason slabši. Alex tamle, Ali Mongrel zaenkrat. Dobro, Mongrel ima celo Search Base, tlele Colt pa Courage, Aussie pa Spearbot pa tam popoda saj Nikov, Seti Deja, ko nima toliko metkov, tako da nima ta, se zdaj ne vem, tako da sta dost skaf, glede metkov, vsaj Colt. Tole kliks pa Lacey do Stormu.
Might only be a matter of time before he looks to start clearing out some of those teams and playing a little bit more aggressive, but peeking back in with our Game 2 winners, Lacey and Clicks. If they can continue to replicate the level of success they found in the last lobby, Jacob, they might start to run away with this one.
Hero Gun pa Hero Flakes, so še kar Aussie fajta, Aussie pa Peterbot fajtata. Aussie je malce dol padel, ampak hitro se has 1800 damage, shotgun damage, which is more than twice as everyone except Alex. Peterbot ima največ shotgun damage-a, kar je več kot dvakrat od vseh, kot pa, se pravi, razen Alexa, kjer je praktično, seveda, Peterbot ima največ shotgun damage-a od vseh, 2000 skoraj v 3 igrah, kar je zelo dobro, kar je izjemno. Med 2000 shotgun damage-a v taki meti, kjer se sam sprejaš v reloadu. In ima dvakrat več damage-a, se pravi Ronaldo one squad FNCS making him the only creator here with an FNCS title. To sem že povedal prej. Pa da to končam, seveda, Peterbot je imel s tem dvakrat več damage kot vsi ostali, razen Alexa, ki ima pa tudi verjetno največ killov, neverjetno, seveda, da ima največ killov. Tole pa je Alije, pa Mongrel, prvič jo vidimo tole, v portretu. Tole Seti pa Deja rotirata pred njima, lepo Mongrel svojemu infantry riflom iz Chapter 1 Days Season X, njegov aim. Še vedno je verjetno še kar z infantry. Laceyja ni več, hitro se bori spomnil Lacey, pa še duo, brazilski duo, Gona in pa Flexa, Lacey se je hitri spomnil, sreč imata še minuto in pol, ampak to se bo hitro šlo. Gon, Lacey je bil fine damage-an, Kliks puša cel duo sam, falil je, Flex pa Gon, under pressure, kaj počneta Flex pa Gon, kaj počne tudi Kliks, tale pro-em mu gre fajan, dober in pa nadaljuje proti Flexu, ki pa ima seveda šokejve. Lacey je prišel na pomoč in sedaj ga iščeta, pa ga ne bosta najedla. Saj tako izgleda. Kliks pa zaenkrat v zelo dobri formi tole na tem FNCS-u in sem rekel, da po mojem bo tole Kliksov prvi FNCS title in kaj boljšega kot pa z Laceyjem na lanu na Pro-Emu. In tehnično gledano bi bil to njegov prvi FNCS in po tako dolgem času, ampak tisti uradni FNCS je tako malo zmanjkal. In konc je za Victory Royale igralca, ki so že 19 umrla. 19 sta umrla, kakor sem rekel, hitro se lahko urižem, je ekstremno low. Tale ima še minigun, kakor sem rekel, hitro se reloadih lahko spremeni. Lahko zmagaš še eno rundo, naslednjo rundo pa osnovno mrež. To sem že poudaril na začetku tele igre in točno to se dokazuje. V reloadu je pač ta in Gon je umrl in Gon in seveda Flex sta umrla. Eno pa Reddish tlele z enim killom. Samo Set pa Thomas pred njima. Savage tlele rotira fajn videti Savage v tem endgameu, ampak kakor vsi vemo, top 10 rabiš biti za placement, tako da to sem že rekel takrat za Moxie pa Cypher, da zgleda vse dober, ker sem mislil, ker v redu jih imel, da ima gre dobro, ampak seveda ta ampak mora biti tlele. Tukaj konec koncev je še bilo nekaj timov in nista bila. Ali je pa Mongrel, to sem hotel. Prav želim si, da zmagata tole igro. Ali disrespect z mene na njega, kao da je najslabši igralc celotnega tegale Pro-Ema. Upam, da mi dokaže wrong. Upam, tole pa vemo in avstralski dvojec, Loserfruit in pa Alex sta rešila. Upam, da mi ali pa Mongrel, oziroma ali dokaže tisto napačno, da sem se motil glede njega. In hvala Bogu, da oceanski avstralski duo Loserfruit in Alex sta prestregla pot s Crashpadom Nika pa Quizija na high ground. To bi bilo že tretjič zapored, da sta bila na high groundu v katerikoli igri. Ampak čisto ne bosta Mongrel pa ali še vedno na high groundu. Rizon pa Factory pa Mongrel na high groundu, pa še Quizy Ja, spet sem rekel, Quizy je v tule nekaj trdi. Quizy je že tretjič zapored na high groundu. Joj, škoda. Ampak Quizy pač zna pretentati nasprotnike. Alije smo zgubili. Mongrel je solo. Počakajmo še, da Mongrel dobi prvi placement te igre. Osija smo zgubili. Kanada ga je ubil. Tokrat spet Peterbot čaka za solo clutch in ja, ravno sem hotel reči, preden še pridemo do sem, da je dobil kill na Alexu. 2 killa. Trenutno ima Mongrela pred sabo. Zelo malo HP-ja zaradi Stormtika. Ima tudi Mongrel malo HP-ja, ker ga je damageal. Očitno bo šlo, ja, šlo je. Ja. Na koncu je bilo dost, da Peterbot preživi Quizyja. Še tule, kakšen kaotičen gameplay Peterbota tle. Vsi vemo, kaj je zmožen, ampak zdaj pa še sam ne ve, kaj bi od sebe. Antics, ja, je pameten, ve vse v igrici, ker speja. Deja in Nate Hill sta oba da umrla. Deja je umrla in pustila Setija Sanga, tako kot Nate Hill je pustil samo Rex. Rex je dobila kill na Peterbotu. Peterbot, ja. Thomas HD na Savageu in Thomas HD ima minigun, ki ga je pa prepustil v Stormu. Ja, kakor sem rekel, nekaj trti in pa, da se hitro lahko spremeni igra, da sta nekaj trti pa prej Quizy bila v dobri poziciji na high groundu. Zgodaj je umrla, zdaj sta spet nazaj. Reload je tak, da pripravlja kaotičnosti. Zeta Coyota, oziroma Coyota je umrl, ravno sem hotel reči, da je preživlja, Podesaj pa Niko spet v endgameu, Kanada pa ravno tudi v endgameu. Podesaj je ostal sam, tlele spet Seti, ki bo pa verjetno pridobil Dej in njim, Dej pa sebi prvo mesto, odvisno kako bo šlo. Quizy z 2 killoma na high ground nazaj, ki v nekaj trti izgleda nekaj trti. Antik ima še, Seti je umrl in Ron pa Kanada sta zmagala tole igro in vidite, sem rekel, passion je tule in Nada in Ron, kako kaotično se je tule zaključilo, sploh nisem vedel, koga je Nick krekal. Niso še na trackerju updateov standing, lahko pa potrdim, da sta Cooper pa Zemi umrla zelo zgodaj, ne nista, 7 sta bila samo, nismo videli. Prince Palace pa samo 1 točko zaradi enega killa. In imamo standing se močno prednost si pridobila Kanada pa Ronaldo, kajti pred kliksom sta 11 točk, Peterbot in Os imata kar nekaj kilo, ampak placementi so pa zelo slabi. In fora je, da Osi umre velikokrat prezgodaj in Peterbot ima za solo clutch. In top 7 je še nekako v možnosti za zmago, tukaj spodaj se pa že začenja gap. In gremo, Kanada, Ronaldo, prva, druga Seti in Deja, druga, tretja Kliks in Cooper in seveda Zemi, četrta Lacey, Kliks, peta Podesaj in Niko, šesta Nike 30 in Twist Quizy oziroma Quizy, 8 Antics in pa Peterbot, 7, 8 Somerset Thomas, 9 Courage, JD in pa Colt, na to Alex, Loserfoot, Reddish in Veno, Coyota in pa Shota, Reason Factory, Nate Hill in Rex, Flakes in Gone, Lachlan in seveda Savage, Jacob, Kami, Buga in pa Typical Gamer, ki močno disappointata, več sem pričakoval, vsak je pričakoval, tole je bilo praktično pričakovano. Joj, škoda, da sta umrla tam po Highgroundu, ko je vse kazalo Moxie pa Cypher pa še vedno točko in vsak ima točko, ampak ne kaže. Četrta igra se nam nasmiha, tako da ja.
Player in the world to make all 26 FNCS Grand Finals, and to see him be here on the FNCS Pro-Am to prove
himself. A sem to jaz prav slišal, da je Kanada edini, ki bil na vseh Grand Finalsih FNCS-ih, ki so kadarkoli bili. In 26 je bilo in vseh 26 smo videli Kanado, ki je iz Chapter 2 sezone 1 do zdaj še vedno tukaj.
It was equal right there at the end. I mean, 4 eliminations.
Tako da ja, pogledajte, ko se Lachlan smeje, pa Savage, pa ja, tule imate še boljš prikazan vse skupaj tale leaderboard. In, kakor veste, oziroma ne, še tudi v Chapter 1 sezona X je bil FNCS Grand Finals in tudi tam smo videli Kanado s njegovom utrijem, ki ga pa nimam pojma.
I want to also highlight here, man, Queasy, Nick A30, oh my gosh. I don't know, like Queasy is a legend already, we all know that, but the fact that consistently we are getting these height endgame situations out of Queasy and Nick A30, by the way.
Trikrat zapored vseh treh igre sta bila vsaj pa nekaj ceta na Highgroundu.
Nick A30 is right there with Queasy.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing such a good job. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit worried after games 1 and 2 because it looked like nobody was really going up Highground, so I was like, well, if anybody starts to like shoot up, pressure them, tries to take it before them, like, what's going to happen then? Game 3, Mongrel and Ali were actually up there on the high ground.
Jaz ugašam stream, ker se mi že tole tako ne da gledati. Zdaj bom pa 25 minut čakal. Tole bo, prijateljčki, mi bomo tole čakali do 11. Jaz pa toliko cajta nimam, ker se mi tudi ne da sam tega gledati. Ja, pol sem pogledal, pol boste pa lahko sami. Hvala, da ste me gledali. Pogledajte si jutrišnji video, pravite kot do Radiomarko, subscribajte se na RMP, lajkajte ta stream, lajkajte vse videe. Lajkajte tudi vse videe na RM+, RM English, subscribajte se na RM+, RM English, lajkajte vse videe na Radiomarko, subscribajte se na Radiomarko in lajkajte vse shortsi na vseh teh kanalih, ki sem jih. Hvala, da ste gledali stream.